happen to be a little bit of an armchair expert on the subject, if I do say so myself.
Here, you don't even know. You have no idea what he said.
No idea.
He could have said, this Joel Carrico guy. He's just
no idea.
He's just a big goofball. Pay no attention to what he says.
Absolutely no idea.
Hey everyone, welcome to my my study. I'm here with Dr. Joel Carrico, and he brought scotch, and so we're sitting and we're drinking some scotch, hanging out, talking about the Bible, and stuff that's been going on. How you doing, Joel?
I am well. It's Friday, right? It's Friday.
It's Friday.
This Sunday, this summer has been it's been a lot. Before I talk about that, because everybody's very interested.
Yes.
If you don't know, I have a scotch collection, and Kipp likes scotch, so I come over here and we sample scotches together. It's good. It's fun.
It's a very good deal for me.
It's a really good deal for you. Yeah, you owe me a lot of money. The one that we're drinking now is a Aaron 18. This one here, which is an incredibly nice bottle. 18 years aged, not peated, so no smoke. Very like Christmassy. Very kind of like dark fruits, and very beloved in the Scotch world. So it's a treat to start with.
Nice.
For sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cheers again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers, Joel. So.
Okay, so I think most important thing to start out with is your book came out today.
Oh, I can do this actually.
Do you have like a something?
I do. Yeah. So we.
So while he's doing that, I would just remind everybody the amount of work it takes to get a publication out it's ungodly. It's disgusting. Can we see it? Are they seeing it?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll do this even. I'll put her there.
Yeah.
Nice and big. Make it big and.
Wow.
So there it is.
Yeah.
That's you can buy it. It is. It's not the only book I've published. I mean, there was this nasty rumor going around for a long time that Kipp Davis has written no books.
I didn't know you've written any books. You write books?
So, but this is actually the cheapest book that I've ever written.
Yeah, that's not Brill level. That's not even close to Brill level.
It's actually an affordable book, even though it is still, a fairly high priced book.
Is that 46 Canadian or American?
It's American.
Oh,
so, I know.
Wow. So
I know.
We're talking like 600 Canadian,
yes.
given that exchange rate. Yeah,
that's right. With the tariffs.
Yeah, with the tariffs. Yeah.
It's So
okay.
But it's 200,000 words.
Yep.
So it's
200,000, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big book.
Yeah. How many pages?
546.
Okay.
That includes the notes, the Hebrew word glossary, and the index. So there's 200 Hebrew words in it that I also included in the glossary, because I feel like there's nerdy people out there, even who are not scholars. There's still nerdy people out there who like these kinds of things. This is the first time I've done a book with endnotes as opposed to footnotes.
Ooh, gross.
Because you're one of those nerdy people. Not everybody is going to read something that I write and go, oh, well, why does he say that, and how does he justify that, and where's this information coming from? Not everybody does that. Yeah. Right. So I'm trying to appeal to a broader audience of people who aren't necessarily going to do that. So in a situation like that, you put the notes at the end. So it doesn't, but there's 25 pages of notes. There's 25 pages of index. It's work. So as everybody knows, it's a lot of work. So if you're interested in this book, actually, I'd be good. Give us like I'm in an elevator with you right now. I can't get out. The door is shut. I don't want to be in the elevator with you. And we've got 20 floors. So on those 20 floors down, and it's not a fast elevator. It's actually an old hotel. You're a biblical scholar. You can't afford a nice hotel. I can't.
No. Nor can I. So on this really terrible elevator down that's going to take 60 seconds, what would you pitch this book as.
Oh.
Also consider like what is this? What are you trying to do? And then also consider that you just so happen to be at SBL, and but it's right between SBL and ETS. And so I'm you don't know if I'm a biblical scholar or
right.
I'm like
Or a
ETS
Christian
bound
apologist
or
guy.
like you don't know.
Yeah.
So you're trying to think about that as well.
Oh no.
So
wow, that's a lot to think about, Joe.
Yeah.
So and you want the elevator pitch for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the book is about how to read and how to understand biblical texts against their historical cultural background, and in view of what writers were trying to do with those biblical texts. So I'm writing from the perspective that these are interested, invested writers who have their own ideas and agendas in place that they're applying to the sources that they have in order to create this thing we call the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not all living at the same time and in the same place. So it's really kind of an exploration of these ideas starting, at basically the late Bronze Age, early Iron Age, when you start to see the emergence of Israel through the kingdom's period and into the exile. The last chapter is actually my homage. It's my apocalyptic literature chapter.
Okay, yeah.
My exilic Judaism chapter, really. So
okay.
But yeah, and it's very heavily based on an article that I wrote and published in 2014.
You publish articles?
Yeah, I do it. So I know you never read any of my stuff.
No, I know Dead Sea Scrolls are really boring.
I know.
Yeah,
it's how I feel about your stuff. So
yeah,
it's we just sit here and talk shit about each other. We don't actually read each other.
No.
But it's actually based very heavily on an article that I wrote in 2015. And published with the Journal of Religion and Popular Culture. Which is published by the University of Toronto.
Okay, yeah.
But the title of the article was Zombies in America and a Qumran, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the AMC's The Walking Dead, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and Apocalyptic Redux.
I actually think I have read this article.
Have you read the
I think you sent it to me a long time ago, yeah.
So it's one of it's one of my favorites of things that I've written. And I've done basically like I've used 20th century zombie film, mostly focused on The Walking Dead when it was still good. Before season 6 or 7 or whatever that was.
I gave up around there.
Yeah, that's when I gave up too.
Yeah.
But I was still writing the article when it was still good.
I got to Negan. I don't know.
Yes,
did you see Negan?
I saw Negan, and then
Negan
I
takes
watched
out Glenn, and it's like, all right, fair enough.
I actually watched the rest of that entire season, and then I was done. But but the I was looking at how the ethos and the worldview and the narrative within the show, The Walking Dead, compares and contrasts with a lot of things that we see within the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I focused on 4 features of what I identify aspects of apocalypticism. There's this focus on living at the end of the age and being in the last days and anticipating the end of the world. There is a focus on ritual purity, and that was maybe my favorite part of the article to write, just because it's really interesting looking at ritual purity as a lens for The Walking Dead, right? Yeah. And then I looked at what was the third one? Oh, it was exile and nomadism, and then I looked at insider outsider polemics and discourses. So as a way to try to understand what's happening in the Dead Sea Scrolls, what's happening in early Judaism. One of my reviewers who read the book said this was his favorite chapter. He was really excited about it. He said that he's, as someone who has actually written about apocalypticism before, he's like, he said, I've never seen it explained that way, and the lights just went on, and it was so. If
anybody out there, so obviously this is going to go out to Kipp's channel. It is on Kipp's channel, and then I'll put it on mine as well. We couldn't link it because of stupid reasons with
stupid reasons with StreamYard.
With StreamYard. So if anyone's from my world and not necessarily from Kipp's world, all those things should be kind of like ringing bells. Those ideas when you read the New Testament. When you
absolutely
when you decide, especially if you read something like the Book of Revelation, which is apocalyptic in genre, so it's a type of literature that we see that kind of fizzled out after a while. In some ways, like in like the ancient sense. I mean, you're taking The Walking Dead. We can still, these things live on. These ideas and tropes live on, but as like a type of literature, your brains should be firing the synapses of, hey, this is what we see in some things in the Old Testament and the New Testament, and it's actually really important to be able to understand this way of thinking, to understand certain things going on at especially the end of the Hebrew Bible, as in like the latest parts of the Hebrew Bible, and then into the New Testament. And so like myself, I know this isn't a popular opinion in some evangelical circles. I do think that probably the Book of Daniel is, as it is now, a later compilation or a later document.
It's because you've gone to an actual school and got an actual PhD, and
I mean, well, it's actually it's not just the school. So I don't want to put it as ideological, in the sense of like you go to a school and you come up with an opinion.
No,
but it's for me, it's actually data driven. It's like within the text itself.
Exactly.
What is the text doing? What kind of literature is it? We know that this kind of literature wasn't earlier on, unless you think maybe Isaiah with like 25 and stuff like this, kind of like pseudo or early apocalyptic ideas. But it does seem to be a type of literature emerging in the third. I guess it depends when you date Zechariah. The stuff in Zechariah.
Yeah.
I don't know when you date that too. But at least like beginning 3rd century, maybe 4th century, whatever. So it does seem to be later, and then especially when you get into what Daniel actually talks about, the events seem to be referring to 2nd century matters, and especially with what goes on with the Maccabees and Antiochus Epiphanes. And to me, that actually isn't so. I'm a seminary professor, if you didn't know that. So I don't have a problem with this when it comes to like the inspiration of the Bible or the Bible being a source of truth or whatever, because to me, it just depends on what this author's trying to do and what this genre is even trying to do. So there was a really great, I'm trying to remember who it was. There was actually a really great Twitter thread. I think it was, actually, he's been in the news, Andrew Rilera. He's got that book on atonement that just came out, The Lamb of the Free, and it was being passed around on Twitter. You didn't see that? About the atonement? About penal substitutionary atonement? No? In any case, I think he actually had a long tweet session with somebody.
Like a theology book?
No, he's like critical New Testament scholar.
Oh, but it was New Testament stuff.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and penal substitutionary atonement. But he actually, most of the book is on Leviticus.
Oh,
so he's taking the Levitical system
Yeah.
and saying, what are the sacrifices meaning in Leviticus, as far as we can tell?
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's true, what I'm saying, what does that mean about Jesus' sacrifice? And is his sacrifice a substitutionary, penal substitutionary death?
This is something I think I'd be interested in. I made a video critiquing, well, the way I guess I made a video once critiquing the way apologists like to talk out of two sides of their mouths when it comes to the atonement.
Mm-hmm.
So, which irritates me. Where on the one hand they want to hold to a like a forensic view of the atonement, but then they're very uncomfortable with following that all the way through into the the literature and how the Old Testament, how the book of Leviticus actually develops that, or how that looks, and how what it's based on, what it pulls from. It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable.
It's exceedingly hard to get to a forensic idea from Leviticus and the sacrificial system there. I don't think that's the best way forward for that approach. I think sacrifices are functioning in a very different way than it's often thought. And I'm not like alone here. Like even guys like Watch the Bible Project, like Tim Mackey or something.
Right.
Like he's on the same page. We have to rethink. So this isn't just like some out there idea. This is very much like, what is this text getting at, and how the New Testament appropriating it. But that's besides the point. We went into penal substitution. But Andrew has this book, and then he also had a tweet. That's where we're going back to Daniel. And he was just talking through, and it just was really awesome, I thought, on how it seems like right away the reception history of Daniel, within the first, right after if it's from the 2nd century in its form that we have it, at least, it was, they didn't really care about whether or not like these are predictions that are coming true, so to speak. It was picked up as something else. It became something else. And so the question is, what was this literature even trying to do, right? And so I even think, so it's trying to cast a vision for empires, for world,
Yes.
for the incoming of God's kingdom. I don't know if it actually cares as much about particulars, as in the particulars are representative of a larger macro kind of narrative. And so I would actually argue the same thing for the book of Revelation, right?
Yep.
Because Revelation is doing the same thing. There's stuff in Revelation that is directly related to the 1st century. So you get like when it talks about there's one of the beasts is injured and then comes back to life. Yep. And then most, even evangelical scholars will say that's about this myth in the 1st century that Nero would come back to life. The Nero
Redivivus?
Yeah. And it really does seem like it's riffing on this idea that was in the culture, in the milieu of all these different communities in the 1st century Greco-Roman world. But it's not just doing that like, oh, and then that's it. It's taking it and going, I want you to think about this idea and then like cast a vision for what it looks like to be people in this life or death, end of the world scenario, and how that informs how you think about God in the world. So if you think about it that way, I don't have like there's no issue here. If you're to wear whatever dating you want to land on Daniel, it doesn't actually matter.
So Lorenzo De Tomaso, Canadian scholar.
I haven't even looked at the
chat.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like there's things that you need to?
No, I don't know. I just haven't looked.
So
I thought there is Nitty. Hi Nitty. I always show up on yours. So hello.
Oh look, Lawrence is here. When are you having me over? I mean, right now. Come on over, Lawrence. Just the door's open. You can come on in.
Where's Lawrence from?
Milwaukee.
Oh, I thought
Milwaukee Atheist.
Oh, so, I missed it. Yeah. Come on over. Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody's welcome to come over. Honestly, I'm serious. I'm serious about that.
You just got to make it a Chilliwack.
Just come on in. That's right. If you can find where that is, and you can get here.
Not usually on maps.
Usually not. So Lorenzo De Tomaso talks about, and this is the way I like to talk about apocalypticism. And we understand apocalyptic through literature like the book of Daniel, through the little apocalypse in Isaiah, and then lots of stuff in the Dead Sea Scrolls and in the New Testament. But this is representative of a worldview. Apocalyptic is a worldview.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you don't understand what's happening in the literature until you understand the worldview. It's this grander idea about these forces of good and evil, cosmic forces that are embroiled in this eternal conflict, at which at some point, and things are getting progressively worse and worse and worse, to the point that in the last days, at the very end, God's going to finally intervene and wipe out the enemies of whoever the apocalypticists are. It's persecution literature.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worldview born of persecution, and he's going to vindicate them. But the way that this gets expressed in literature is through history.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important within apocalyptic texts, to present this view of world history as a means of showing how everything has been kind of under the direction and control of this supremely powerful, like cosmically imperial kind of God figure. And it's all just working out as it's supposed to, until the point in the last days at the very end, when he's finally going to intervene and fix everything. So it's really important to understand that as like the impetus behind these texts that we read. So all that to say, I agree with you that it's not about predicting the future. It's not even about getting the history right, whatever that means or meant for them, so much as it's meant to show that God's in control and these things have all happened, which continue to point towards us living in this period now. Because all apocalyptic literature is written from the perspective that, you know, the people who wrote it believed that they were basically on the brink, that they're sitting, you know, just on the edge. We're in the last days. God's coming back, and redemption is happening any minute now. So that's
and I think we could probably, just in case people are wondering, because someone might be out there thinking in a confused way, wait, is Daniel, parts of Daniel I should say, with all the symbolic stuff in the kingdoms, and Revelation and parts of Enoch, are these that those texts are not equal to apocalyptic worldview? This is like a literature born out of that worldview. But the world, you can find apocalyptic thought in Paul. You can find apocalyptic thought in things that aren't these specific texts. So just so people are aware, there's like a genre of literature that is related, that we have called and given a designation of. He's all his sweet book author money. Yeah, all $20 is in there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah. So there's a difference there between apocalyptic worldview and apocalyptic as a genre, which is a modern designation put onto an ancient type of text that has features of that worldview. That's important for people to know. So Revelation, Daniel, again, maybe part of Isaiah, some of Zechariah, some of Enoch. There's other Apocalypse of Zephaniah. There's like all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Exactly. We have fragments and bigger pieces of other texts. Actually, in my undergrad, we look at a couple of them. Even in my first Bible class, when I go to Revelation and talk about apocalyptic as a genre, I think it's Apocalypse of Zephaniah that I open up and I read it and I say, isn't that an interesting excerpt from the book of Revelation?
Yeah.
And they all go, what? Yeah, I guess so. And I go, that was not from Revelation. That was from a non-biblical book. Why am I doing this? Because you need to know this is a type of literature. And that will, if you can understand what type of literature it is, it will help you read it. And it will help you not be irresponsible in how you read these things. Because we all know how much things like the book of Revelation get just abused left, right, and center when it comes to. I think we're actually. Sorry, it was blurring out there for a sec. But anyways, yeah, how it gets abused in broad religious circles.
It's not uniquely biblical literature either.
No,
like that's the thing. We have examples. I talk a little bit about this in the book. The dynastic prophecy is a text from Babylon, which was written during the reign of Nabonidus.
What's the name of it again? Say it again.
The dynastic prophecy.
I think I was just reading this the other day. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So or during the reign of Nabonidus, or very shortly after, but presents and it's a rehearsal of the history of Babylon, again, from this perspective of, you know, things are terrible now, but we're reaching back into the distant past, into, you know, the old Babylonian kingdom and then the Neo-Babylonian empire. But written from that perspective, like it's pseudo prophecy in the sense that the writer has situated himself in the distant past and is predicting all these things to come about Nabopolassar and Nebuchadnezzar and Nabonidus, right?
So, do you think that and I don't know if you argue this in the book? Do you think that the dynastic prophecy is itself apocalyptic as a piece of literature?
I think it's closely related. I'm not sure,
because it doesn't have you could say it's not like apocalyptic literature as when I say like Zechariah. Here are two lamps. Those lamps are actually. No,
you're right about that with the so there's many pieces that go into this, right? Like and I think that's part of that is like the wisdom-mantic piece that contributes to, you know, the literature that comes out of the Persian period and the Hellenistic period, right? So this doesn't have that, but it's got this historical narrative component and this component of I would say like world history that is embedded within the apocalyptic texts. So
okay.
Sorry, I'm not very good at paying attention to the chat. Partly
I'm also I haven't.
So
yeah,
but if you guys have questions or things, feel free to super chat those. Actually, I was thinking I could set a super chat goal. Should I do that? I could.
Why not? Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you what. If I can probably do that from my phone here. But
I see Apologia is here. Hey,
I'll
Paul.
set that up. Good to see Apologia.
Is Apologia? Is that how you say
We're
it?
coming. Yeah, it's Apologia.
Apologia.
Did you say it wrong?
I don't know.
Everybody says it.
I don't
So,
know.
How did you say it?
Apologia.
See, well, I mean that's close. That's pretty close.
That's like, but the Greek would be.
I know that's
yeah.
it's because you're a Greek dude guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's blame that.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so 10 super chats of Teal and higher, and in the next what time is it? It's 6:00. So in the next hour, if we get 10 of those in the next hour, I will reveal what is inside the safe.
Whoa.
So and it's a surprise, guys. You can text your guesses, and you can even super chat your guesses. But I guarantee you, nobody's getting this right, and I also guarantee you, it's not boring. Okay.
My guess is it's severed teeth from all the people that he's destroyed in his scholarly debates. After they're dead, he just rips the teeth out.
Wow, that's dark, Joel.
Yeah,
That's, I gotta say,
yeah,
it's so I just noticed that
what's up?
the cup was sweating quite a bit, so it's not very wet, but I'm
my computer.
worried a little bit about your computer. Oh, it's quite.
Ooh, it's heading over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to? There's a
all good.
towel over there. We could just, because I don't think I have anything handy here.
It's all good. Entertain the people.
Yes, I shall look at some. We do have a super chat already. So Brandon Runyon, thank you for the $5. Said alternate title. This is for my book.
Yeah.
Hatikva,
The Kipp Davis.
the Kipp Davis story.
I love you. The Kipp Davis story.
That's right. Thank you very much, Brandon. Oh, and look, the governor's on it. Do it, he says.
Yeah.
So thanks very much. And I guess we'll see, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see what happens. By the way, after the stream ends, I am sending everybody over to Toast to Toast over on Apologia's channel with Apologia and Dave.
We'll be done at about midnight, so
yeah,
buckle up.
Which means we'll still be done before them.
Yeah,
right, because they never stop streaming. They're just always be streaming. That's that on a Friday night.
I don't actually follow his channel. Sorry, I don't actually follow his channel, so I don't know that. But okay,
right.
It's good to know.
No,
you know what? Just because I said that live on stream, I'll follow you when I'm done.
He doesn't mean it. He doesn't watch anybody's stuff. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm busy. It's a busy life.
So
okay, so that's Kipp's book is
it's out.
It's out.
Go buy it.
I would, for anyone again who's if we're in that elevator and you're between ETS and SBL and you love Bible and you love thinking
if you
a lot about Bible,
love the Bible.
That's his phrase, his catchphrase. I always tell people to not shy away from things that you don't agree with, and to just think about them, because it's actually very important in becoming a critical thinker, because you want to think through ideas from the people who actually hold them, different ideas than what you might have. So it'd be a good book for anyone to check out that way. You don't have to agree with what he says, but he's a well-informed person, so he at least is worth giving the time to think about and to go through his ideas. So I actually haven't purchased a copy. Maybe I'll purchase one by the end of the stream. I think I'm going to purchase a copy.
You should.
And then I guess you don't have any here, probably, do you?
I don't, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So because Amazon apparently had to make, so during COVID they had to do some changes, like with international shipping. Had to make all sorts of adjustments and changes because COVID was crazy, right? We all remember that. And when after things settled down, not everything went back to normal. There's some things, and one of those things is that the author copies that I can buy at cost, they don't ship to Canada. So,
rough.
Right? So I couldn't get any. I had to go through another supplier and pay more money, and I'm still waiting for them. I actually checked today, and they're in Toronto now. So I haven't even seen it. I'm seen the actual book. There's a chance that many of you, some of you, a handful of you who have already purchased the book will get your copies before I ever get my hands on my copy. So, which is kind of crazy.
I feel like that's not unusual in academia.
That's possibly true.
I'm trying to think. Like, I think my book came out before I got author's copies. I think.
Did it?
I think so.
I got mine pretty quick. But you also published with Bro.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that.
Okay.
I don't.
But you were way over here in North America.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was in Norway. It was like right next door.
It's
They
like,
just literally
down
they
the
just
street.
walked over. And,
Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah. I said, here, have your copy. So yeah, that was good.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
so, anyways, Kipp's
so-
book is out. That's
So-
cool. How many years would you say? I know a book is like that is always like a culmination of much thought. How many years did you put into? Do you think you started like initial draft of something related to this?
Probably 2 years.
Okay.
And but it's not so, because I'll tell you the story. I've told this story before. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but the story behind the book is that I used to teach a course called a second-year course called Israelite Religions at your school at Trinity Western University. And
just to be clear, I am faculty at Northwest College and Seminary. I am adjunct at Trinity and what is now becoming TEDS.
That's a story.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I taught that course there for like 10 years.
Wow.
7, 8.
I'm so
9,
sad I missed that.
10
That would have
years,
been probably right when I was doing my master's. Would be the end probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was an undergrad class, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
second year.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure I would have liked it.
Yeah, I think you would have liked it.
Yeah.
But my students, it was a popular class. I had a number of students who came to me. I always got really good reviews on it. But I taught this course. I spent a lot of time just developing this course for like 10 years. And then when I stopped teaching, it just kind of sat there, and I ended up developing it then for the online platform through MVP courses. And when I went to do the filming for the course, I was talking to my good friend on the phone, Dr. Joshua Bowen.
Who?
You've heard of him, I think, haven't you? Dr. Josh, the bow tie Bible guy.
Oh,
I think, right?
Is that Hank Hanegraaff?
Yeah,
No?
that guy, same guy, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was talking to him on the phone, and I was telling him how I basically had to put, in order to do it on camera, I had to turn everything from just like my point form notes into proper scripts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have 120 pages of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's all well over 60,000 words. And he just said to me, he says, you're like 2/3 of the way to a book. You might as well just turn it into a book.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, that's a good idea. And I thought I could do this fast because I've basically written it all. And that was 2 years ago.
Yes, that is
Right.
fast in academia.
So
That's like lightning speed.
and it ballooned from like 60,000 words to 200,000 words, because as I was writing it as well, in the intervening time since I did the course on MVP courses, I'm like, well, I've changed my thinking on some of these things. I want to provide some stronger nuance to some of these things. I want to make this more literarily entertaining because I don't have my visuals on hand. So all of that took work.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was
not to
kind of
mention if
a new
you're saying
thing
like,
too,
maybe
right?
someone published something recently, gotta
Yeah.
make sure update.
Yes. Exactly.
That's always the struggle.
That's always
That's the
struggle.
never ending Sisyphusian. Is that the way to say it? I don't know. You're like Sisyphus. You're pushing the boulder up the hill forever and ever. That's just this life. And it's in some ways really terrible because you just constantly have to be on top of publications. I have Google alerts. I don't know if you do. Google alerts that tell me when something comes on the internet for certain keywords.
They're very handy.
Yeah, and I just like every day I'll get 2 to 3 emails from Google a day. Sometimes saying, and it's
right.
like okay, and just quickly click
It's
through.
too hard to keep up with.
Quickly click
it really
through.
is.
And like that's just me trying to maintain Septuagint, Pentateuch, Exodus,
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, and that's basically
lot.
that's majority of it. And it's hard. It's hard to
That's
do.
a fuck ton.
Yeah.
So
But anyways, that's awesome and amazing and a super huge accomplishment.
And I'm excited for you to rip it to shreds.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a 50-part series on my channel on why this is the worst book that's been written by the worst biblical scholar, quote unquote biblical scholar, and how he should have just hung it up at Trinity when it was done.
I probably should have.
Yeah,
so it's true.
Although you know what? Now that I said it out loud, I might do a thing on my channel.
A review.
Oh, that would be fun.
That's so great. Wow.
Or we could do another one of these. And
I know that. So one of the guys who watches my channel on a regular basis is already planning a review.
Oh, cool.
Of it. So which is cool. I'm excited about that. I got to read some of these.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in. Lil says thanks for the $2, and she says there's the Dagon gets treats and so does Joel. Do you like dog treats? Dagon likes dog treats.
Like Dagon, the actual god.
Dagon, the abomination of the Philistines.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Dagon and I haven't really hung out, at least recently. So
I mean, he's in the other room.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of thought so. I got that vibe when I walked in the house.
He's my dog, dude.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks, Lil. It's always good to see you.
Question for everybody: am I constantly going in a blurry vision? And am I being blurred? I just from where I'm sitting, it seems like that, but I'm not sure.
It's probably because I've been moving. So
just let me know.
You should move. Maybe
I can move forward a little bit,
and even if you go back a bit, that's
know.
probably better because it has to there. And now I will try to sit still. That looks way better, actually.
It's fine.
So Chuck, one of my Hebrew students, by the way, thanks for the $5, has asked, is it an Ammon medical kit? I think he means Amon Hillman. My guess is Amon Hillman, an Amon Hillman medical kit in the safe. It is not. It has nothing to do with the burning purple or medicines of any kind, actually.
Okay. So, I've heard about the burning purple thing. I don't know anymore, so I will not say anything more.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck. Brandon Runyon, thanks for the $2. How do we get a signed copy? That's more difficult, and I will work on that. The easiest thing to do is to encounter me in some way, if you can. The next time I'm traveling, I will be in Boston at SBL in November. So if anybody's in the area in November, I can sign copies when I'm there. I'm working on something. It's like hellaciously expensive to buy, like to get, sign, and then ship signed copies themselves. So one of the things that I've heard a few people are doing, I know Dan McClellan is doing this, is buying like book plates and just signing those and mailing those out to people that you can stick in your books. So that's a thought that I have, but it's something I'm going to continue to think through and work on. But thanks for the question. Oh, wow. Look, Dave is here and he's dropping dimes.
Yeah. Wow.
As Maya Atkinson would say. It's published author and refined man about town, Dr. Kipp. Thanks, Dave. I can't wait for my copy of God's Propaganda to show up. Toast to Toast is a wonderful follow-up stream for people who are tired of thinking you make them do. Tired of all the thinking you make them do. That's true, because you guys just sit around and crack jokes and play bingo and trivia, and so it's fun. It's a fun stream.
Yeah.
We'll
cool.
turn it on when
sure,
we're
yeah.
done. And
Yeah.
It's good. Thanks, Dave. And yes, everybody, you make sure you head over there when we're done drinking and such. So I think you probably, because maybe if I move this over here, then okay. Claude Simeon, thank you for the $5. Just broke my ban on physical books to order this. Wow. It arrives on Wednesday, which is definitely, well, maybe not definitely, but almost certainly sooner than I'm going to get my copy. Also splurged and ordered Francesca Stavrakopoulos, got an anatomy hardcover. No, hardcover on discount. Yeah. Excellent book. Did you read it?
I didn't. I've read actually parts of it, but not all of it. Yeah.
So she's just I mean, I think it's very well done, but I also just very much appreciate what a what an excellent writer she is.
Mm.
So
yeah, not always hand in hand. Good scholar and good writer.
very true. Yes. So I am, and yes, Maya's waiting for the Kindle version, which will be coming at the end of the month.
Oh,
So,
nice. Yeah. I would love to pay you for the book and buy the book, and then I want you to send me a PDF so I can listen to it. Because I usually listen to books.
There's going to be an audio. Oh, yeah, but you probably want it before then.
Yeah.
The audio book will be coming towards the end of September.
Okay.
So you probably want.
So
you could. We can talk about what you want to do.
We'll see. Yeah. I'm so busy that that might be fine.
Yeah.
September. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the book.
Yeah.
Go buy it, folks. Or not. But if you want me to be sad, then don't. But if you want me to be happy, then go buy it.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. I think it'll make you happy too.
I mean, a good touch point with God's anatomy would be Isaiah's visions.
Oh yes.
Of claims of anatomy.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I did a stream.
Yeah.
This last I did a stream last month, and I put together a summary of the stream with better visuals and published it yesterday.
Yeah, and then you did tell me about it.
Yeah,
and I said, okay, I'll quickly as I can. I put it on 2.5 times speed, and I did watch it, and I definitely had some comments. So I don't have people out there who are at least here right now. Did you watch it?
I bet a lot of people have probably seen it, but I can provide a basic summary.
Yeah,
and you can get into it.
Sure.
So Stavrokopoulou spends about a page discussing this vision that Isaiah has of the throne of Yahweh, where he says that he saw the throne of Yahweh high and lifted up, and then in most English translations, maybe all English translations, it says that the train of his robe filled the temple, and goes on to talk about the seraphim who were positioned above him and were covering their faces and their midsections with their wings, and flying with their third pair of wings, and then one of the angels comes. Isaiah is exasperated by what he's seen. He says that he's a man of unclean lips who dwells among a people of unclean lips. So an angel has to come. One of the angels comes, takes a coal out of the altar and purifies his lips, and tells him that he can now go forth and deliver Yahweh's message. So Stavrokopoulou argues on the basis of this very it's a what I call it. I don't know if I call it an obscure word. It's not a common word in Hebrew, but it seems to be a fairly flexible word, to the point that it's caused difficulties in this text. And she argues on the basis of this word that's translated the train of his robe. It's just one word. Shulim. She makes the argument that this is with reference to his genitals, the genitals of Yahweh, on the basis of readings that appear in other texts. In the prophetic text, it's with reference to female genitalia, and it's from the cognates as well, from the I believe it's the Ugaritic and then the later Arabic. There is, and I think the Akkadian too, there is a sense of what hangs down, what's on the bottom, what's at the base. So, and when you look at the versions, which immediately interests you, the Septuagint doesn't call this a robe.
No, omits it. Says "Ikos tes doxes of two, the house of his glory." And
the house was full
of the house of his glory. Play race ikos tes doxes of two. Yeah. So it's full of his house glory. Is full of his glory. Yeah.
Was the Shulim. The Targum does the same thing. It talks about his exceeding amazingness. Filled the temple. So you're looking at these texts. It's actually the Syriac, interestingly, does say the hem of his robe filled the temple, but in order to arrive there, they actually have to insert like a I forget what they're called in Aramaic, the equivalent of the construct with the de construction. So they basically have to reconstruct the word into a phrase in order to make it work. So I think it's compelling, and it was good to have Vish there to talk through this with, because she's very bright, and she oftentimes thinks through some of these things a little bit differently than I do. But the one thing I think she and I agreed about when approaching this text is that what's being conveyed in the introduction of this vision is a sense that Isaiah has seen something, or thinks he's seen something maybe that he was not supposed to see, or has difficulty describing or coming to grips with having seen. And I think that is the author being coy about what's there. One of the critiques I engaged directly with Hugh Williamson, who is a brilliant Old Testament scholar. He's written an exceptional commentary on the book of Isaiah, and he rejects this reading and provides a series of reasons for why he rejects this this reading. One of them, he says that if the writer intended this to be God's genitalia, then why not use a word like yod or regal, a common word that we use for genitals,
which is probably what, when it says the seraphim covered their regalim, that probably is referring to genitals.
I think scholars are basically agreed on that.
I think that's pretty common.
Yeah. So and the way that I counter that is by saying, but this is, I think that's sort of a superficial approach to how this fits in with what Isaiah is experiencing and how he's processing this vision. He doesn't call it that because it's Yahweh, and because it's something that he's uncomfortable with having seen. So he's not just going to outright come and say, yeah, I saw God's dick. It was right there in the temple. No, it's the text. It's the author of the text being quiet. And just so people are clear, when I say Isaiah, I'm not necessarily talking about 8th century Isaiah. I'm talking about whoever actually wrote this text, whoever wrote this vision down. So that's kind of the way that I go with it. But I mean, so now let me ask you. Just
before you do, I saw that a Septuagint question from Paul.
Where is it?
Apologia.
Is it
he just asked, is it Septuagint? Is it Septuagint? Because he went to Bible college in Regina. Septuagint is a typical way people refer to Septuagint, Septuagint, either or.
Thanks for the $5.
It doesn't really matter. I think everybody kind of gets it. Yeah, Septuagint.
But you know what? When I went to school in the UK, and maybe they did things differently at Oxford, but I was told at Manchester that the way to pronounce it properly was Septuagint.
Septuagint, so, that is one pronunciation among scholars. Yeah.
So they warned me that if I didn't want to out myself too badly as an American or a Canadian, that I should say Septuagint.
Yeah.
As opposed to Septuagint. So it just depends on where.
Septuagint. Oh, it's a Septuagint.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you ready to try another scotch before I have opinions on this?
All
right. Sorry, you've been talking the whole time.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, talk to me about what you're thinking about this. I have a question for you about this too.
Yeah. Well, do you want to ask it, or do you want me to kind of give my initial thoughts?
Well, let me ask you this right at the outset. Do you think that the text is clear about what is being presented?
No, I wouldn't say it's clear. There wouldn't be so much fighting if it was clear. The problem, like you said, it revolves around what is a shul. What is that term referring to? And just so people aren't going like, oh, hey, Kipp's crazy here. If you go to Hallel, one of the Hebrew Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament, which is one of the major ones that scholars use, one of the definitions is the pubic area of a woman, actually.
That's how it's used in the prophets.
Yeah. So that's just to say that this isn't just some kind of out there thing. the term does get used in that sense. But I believe, if I'm correct, it's only women that it refers to.
Yeah.
So the pubic region of a woman in hallowed for Jeremiah 13:22. So that would, at least to me, at least make me caution a bit to go, okay, if this is a way that, because even in colloquial euphemistic English, we have different ways of referring to genitalia between males and females. Sometimes there's crossover, right? True. But so if that's the case, and I'm not saying that is the case, that there would be distinct and there couldn't be crossover, but that at least gives me a pause to go, okay, we don't have this referring to male genitalia euphemistically in the Hebrew Bible. We have other terms like regel for feet, yad, like you said. Yeah. So that's, if those were there, I would be more immediately inclined to go, okay, there's some really strong grounds there. Yeah, I think conceptually as well, I have a lot of questions. So you asked, is it clear? No, the text I don't think is patently clear. Would I go immediately to your reading? I don't think so, because we don't have parallels. Did we have cognates in other languages for male genitalia? I don't remember. It's just
there's the closest one is probably the Arabic, which is like slack.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Flesh around the stomach and the midsection areas, like saggy stuff. My friend, you met Matt. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
my friend Matt Unger.
Yeah, he's great.
He likes to translate this as dangly bits.
Dangly bits.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a pretty good that would be probably the best sort of category translation of this term.
Yeah.
Right? It's the edge.
Yeah, it's definitely the edge of something, for sure. Yeah. Because it could be a skirt, like it can be, I guess, female by was it metonymy? Like a female, or yes, metonymy, female.
Septuagint in those in those passages in Jeremiah translates it with a piso.
Okay.
Bottom.
Bottom. Right? Yeah.
So
there's something there. That the Septuagint changes it from shulim or shulav to glory.
Yeah.
So from dangly bits, skirts, whatever, hem to glory.
I'm interested to hear from you what your thoughts behind that are.
Yeah, I think my initial thoughts, and so I'm not
behind the change.
Yeah. So just so everyone's aware, I am not a Greek Isaiah scholar formally. I do sometimes dabble there because Isaiah relies on Exodus.
We're all just dabbling here. It's all good.
Yeah.
Bunch of dabblers.
Drinking
scotch.
Dabbling. Yeah. So, and Exodus, the translator of Isaiah does know of Exodus, the translation of Exodus, it appears, and has been influenced by it. There are people who argue that. So all that to say, I work in Exodus, so that's why I'm making those connections. So it's saying that the hem of his robe was filling the temple to full is the house of his glory. So his house is full of glory. So from going from hem to glory. Now you could take that as the translator understood a euphemism, right? And went, oh boy, that's awkward. I'm gonna get rid of that. That's one way to take it. That wasn't my initial thought in this text, particularly because when you get down to verse, where are we at? In the Septuagint, at least, you get to verse 3 when it talks about, so the seraphim are crying one to the other, and we're saying, holy, 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 Lord Sabaoth, which is Lord Almighty. Sabaoth is a transliteration of Sabaoth from the Hebrew. Pleiris, full, pasaheges tes doxes of two. Full is all the earth of his glory. And so you've got parallel ideas of being full. You've got the temple filling. Full is the temple of his glory, which is from that word hem. And then you've got the angels or the seraphim saying, full is the earth of his glory. So I wonder if this is an interpretive move. Again, it could be still euphemistic in the sense that they knew.
I think it could be both.
They knew that and went, oh, I'm getting away from that. I'm going to match this. But I think there's, a pause and just wondering, what does it mean for, why would they do that? Well, it could be based on this other idea of filling the earth with glory that comes later. Outside of the Septuagint, I also wonder what kind of on the same note. I can actually continue on that same note, but now moving away from the Septuagint and going just strictly to Hebrew Bible. You've got a vision of the temple. So in the temple and in the sanctuary formal, you're going to have the antechamber, so the courtyard, and then the antechamber, and then the debir, the Holy of Holies.
Yeah.
Right. And so Isaiah seems to have a vision of like a through line.
See, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, a through line, and it seems like he is in the antechamber or earlier, because he says that the whatever this shulim is, it fills the Haikal, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Holy of Holies it's filling; it's actually filling the whole temple precinct, or at least the sanctuary formally, which is itself interesting.
Yeah.
So you've got this hem or whatever shulim filling out of the Holy of Holies, where Yahweh would be on the Ark of the Covenant or whatever equivalent, going into the rest of the temple, and that's being filled. It says it's filled, the Haikal. You also have the seraphim calling to one another, saying that the earth is full of the glory. From what I understand, and you can disagree with me here, but when it comes to symbolism in temples in the ancient Near East and also in the Hebrew Bible, it is relatively it is argued by many that temples represent the cosmos.
Yes.
Like that, you can find that all over the place.
Yep.
And so if it's like a microcosm of the cosmos, that the temple is picturing the entire known world, some also think that the antechamber is this representational area of kind of like the meeting between God and man, similar to what you have in the Garden of Eden, where I would argue that Adam and Eve are in an antechamber-like place in the geography of the Genesis stories. And so if that's the case, and even the book of Hebrews, for that matter, I know that's New Testament and that's sacrilegious here. We can't do Hebrews. But even Hebrews says that something similar when it says, oh, that room, the antechamber, is representative of the present age. So that they seem to have a symbolic meaning of this is the way the world is now, this kind of mediation between God and humans that's going on, this middle ground, and that will be abolished in the new age to come, referring again to the temple and the tabernacle. So if that's the case, that antechamber would, in some respects, represent the earth, the land, as we know, not the earth like you think globe. Don't think globe, think the land, because they think in skies, land, sea. And so when the whole land is full of his glory, but the shulim just filled the antechamber. So you've got both the antechamber, which could represent the land, being full, because the temple is the cosmos. And then you've got Isaiah, or the angels, giving a theological explanation of it, saying, oh, the earth is full of his glory. And so there's a parallel language of full, of this idea of being full of glory, the parallel idea of land and antechamber. Like, I wonder if something's going on there as well.
That's what the Septuagint translates.
No, I'm saying that they could have done that, but I think at the Hebrew Bible level as well, they could be envisioning the shulim. Now, again, you could say, well, that's still euphemism for his genitalia, and that's filling the whole earth in that way, in the antechamber, and then that is also his male dominance is in the whole world. Like I could see you saying that, but I also wonder about this idea of
he knows me so well.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what arguments he'd bring. So the term shul is rare, but it does occur in Exodus with reference to the priestly garments.
Yeah, but very specifically, it's always crystal clear that it's with reference to the priestly garments. It
says it's shulav. Yeah, it's the same term actually. Shulav.
Yes,
but it's shulav, not his
but
shulav.
The antecedent of that is always
it's the closest. The antecedent is the closest object.
Oh God. Dude.
That was not true. Sorry, that's a whole.
It's not true.
It was a thing.
Whole other thing. Maybe we'll see how much scotch we drink, but maybe something we'll talk about.
Kipp and I just got frustrated with something we saw. In any case,
some of these people know about the Hebrew transgressions of Egyptologists. So, but
in any
anyways,
case,
it's not. Yes. So, but I think this is important, right?
Yeah.
I I am troubled by the fact that the writer in Isaiah did not provide an antecedent, which is part of what has me going. If it's just a rope, if that's all that he wants to communicate, then why not just say that? He doesn't. He just doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like I said, he's coy about it.
Yeah, because is
it the robe? Is it something?
So in Exodus with the priestly robe, you've got
it's the me'il.
Yeah, it's the the hamail. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, hamail. Yeah, which is in its shul first appears as just shulav, which is the same as Isaiah.
Yeah,
his or its shul.
Yes,
plural shul
with
reference back to
the me'il.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with you there. However, my only question would be, can you have, so what we have here is a construct form in Hebrew. So the shul of the robe, or would that be the best translation of that? The me'il, the robe. Yeah.
It's the ephod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the shul of that. And Kipp saying, well, why don't you have shul of me'il?
You have shul of Yahweh.
Shul of Yahweh. So there's no mentioned robe. And so if there's no mentioned robe, what is the shul then? Should you conceptualize it as a garment, or should you conceptualize it as a body part, as elsewhere? What should you do? My thought is, my first thought is, in Hebrew, can you have a construct noun, shul of something, or something of something, where the phrase itself is well known enough that you can just use the construct noun, and everybody knows what you're talking about.
You can make that argument. There's nothing I can do to counter that. That's just because it's just a.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do some work. I expect it's pretty specific though. Certain things, maybe you can just provide a construct noun, which typically functions as a modifier of an antecedent to cover the antecedent. I think it's I don't know, in my opinion, it's a bit imprecise. Right?
Yeah.
Because I just don't know how you can demonstrate that. I
don't think you can demonstrate. Well, you could prove the opposite. You could say, we don't find construct nouns or constructs of phrases, shul of something, just referred to by the construct noun, shul.
Yeah.
You could say that. That's actually not true, because I went through the grammars today just because I wanted to look.
Oh, God damn.
Yeah. So you can find some cases. It's actually not that common. So at least, but I didn't do enough work to really be that precise. It was pretty quick. You can find places, for example, of well-known things. So such as in Samuel, you've got the Ark of God, and it's always Ark of God, Ark of God, Ark of God, Ark of God, and then like in one place it'll just be like the Ark, and so it's the Ark of God. Like, I'm just saying, like, you can.
Yeah.
I know that's not exactly parallel.
Yeah.
I know it's not exactly parallel. I think a better place to go, if that's true, you can do that. If someone said, "Oh, the hem," and people are supposed to know what that is, I think the idea of the cognitive frames. What the hem in what context? Shul in what context? It's not a shul in the context of it's not in the context of war and of rape.
Yeah.
Like these other I think it's cities that are metaphorized as women. I think, if I remember correctly.
Do you know?
But it's in the context of temple.
Right.
Specifically, priest in going into the sanctuary. Right. And so if that's the case, that you have a shul on the me'il of the priest, that's well known, then when you say shul in a priestly sanctuary context, it's possible that they would know what you're referring to because of the cognitive frames of temple, sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a better way forward, because of what would be immediately associated with such a term. Given also that, well, actually, you might not give this at all. That Isaiah would know. Does the author of Isaiah 6 know of Exodus 25? Or sorry, Exodus 25 to 31.
Exodus 25 and
to 31.
I think it appears in 34.
I think it's in 28 with the priestly garments.
It's also in
39.
That's it.
Yeah. So did he know of that? And so that would be actually a whole other question.
Yes. Which I didn't take the time to get into.
No, me neither.
Well, let me give you another. My perspective of this is not so much temple versus war and conquest.
Yeah.
But in terms of, instead of war and conquest, in terms of shame and embarrassment.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the things that I noticed as I was looking through. Yeah. What are we doing now?
Just so we'll take a quick pause here. Are there any super chats you need to get to?
Oh yeah, I got a couple. And guys, you've got 20 minutes. I need, if you want to see what's inside the safe, we need 3 more super chats in the next 20 minutes. But I got a couple here from
just before you do, I'm pouring.
Yeah.
This is I brought one last time. This is from the rarest distillery to buy scotch from in the world. It's very hard to get from. It's from Springbank, but this is their sister distillery, Kilkerran. And,
very nice.
Kipp loves really heavily smoky scotch.
I really do.
So this is their heavily peated version, which means heavily smoky.
Sounds good to me.
And it's cast strength, so just careful there. And then we might actually bottle kill it because it's just a little bit left.
It's cask strength.
So probably not bottle kill. Yeah,
maybe not bottle kill, or at least not before the stream ends.
Definitely not. No, I don't think bottle kill.
Yeah. So Miranda Rensberg, thank you very much. Miranda Rensberger, sorry. I assume the audio book will be read by Morgan Freeman. Yes. Of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were on the phone with him earlier.
Yeah, I was talking to him. So we did Paul's super chat about being from Regina. Thank you, Paul. Dave's back and says in response to Paul for $5 Canadian. No, Paul, you went to Bible school in Regina because you pronounced it Septuagint. So, have you ever been to Regina?
No, I haven't.
No. So I mean, there's no reason to go. Honestly, Paul. Dave, if you're still here, I think could confirm that there's just no reason to go to Regina. But thanks, Dave. We'll be along in a little while. All right. Prixie, overthrow capitalism purple. Thank you for the member chat. Is the text clear? Oh, no. A heretic. Everyone knows the Bible is perspicuous. My book is coming Monday. I'll get it before Kipp. Yes. I'm sure you will.
The perspicuity of Scripture.
That's right.
That's a tough category to argue for.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. My good friend Simone, thank you very much for the 5 New Zealand dollars. Here's my first super chat to say, wow, your first super chat. Thank you.
That's really
say congrats.
Thank you.
Hatikva. But also argue that Shulav is clearly parallel to Kavod, and Kavod is almost everywhere a physical body. Oh, that is interesting. And while you think about that,
that's a very good point.
Yeah, Simone's bright. Simone is very bright. So guys, you've got 15 minutes. If you want to see what's inside the safe, we need 3 more super chats. So teal or higher. So one of the things that I noticed with regards to the prophetic texts, where which is really the only other place this term occurs. It occurs in Exodus and it occurs in the prophetic texts, and Isaiah is kind of sitting in between these two, right? And we're sort of figuring out, because I would say that in all these other instances, it is pretty clear and it's used fairly differently. Within the prophetic texts, it's used with the verb galah.
Yes.
Especially. Yeah. It's also used with the verb kafas, which means to uncover or to throw off.
Okay.
So when looking at these and thinking through this,
Kasaf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kasaf.
Yeah.
I think I said that, didn't I? Or did I say
I think you might have switched the letters, whatever happened.
Kafas.
Yeah.
I might have said that. Kasaf. That's correct.
Kasaf.
Yes. So, what Isaiah's, and I still think, even though Hugh Williamson downplays Isaiah's reaction, I think it's important. Isaiah is in a position of shock I'm a man of unclean lips. I dwell among a people of unclean lips. I've seen the glory
Mhm.
of the King
Mhm.
Yahweh. Right? He's dumbfounded by what he's seen, and the response of the angel is to purify his mouth
Mhm.
so that he can talk about it,
Mhm.
so that he can actually go and talk to the people. Is this a situation where Shul is nodding or signaling towards this idea that you've seen something that's been uncovered,
Yeah.
that you weren't supposed to see, because that's what's happening in the prophetic text. Is Yahweh is pulling the skirts off to reveal
Yeah.
Galah,
Yeah.
or Chasaf,
Yeah.
the Shul. I'm sort of looking at the situation in the temple in that respect, and I think this too is really cool, which is sort of where the conversation with Vish and I went.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in the moment, right? This wasn't something that I had in my notes going ahead of time, but in the moment, Yahweh or Isaiah is in the Hakel, right? He's in the main chamber of the temple,
or at least at the precipice, like looking in.
Looking in. The way the temple functions in Jerusalem, in the ancient Near East, are they've deliberately built these structures with zones of purity, progressive zones of purity, through which you can't enter unless you're properly purified, and you can't even see, right? Like from one into the I think you probably can from the
antechamber,
the portico into the antechamber, but definitely not from the
unless it's open.
Yeah, but when the only reason anybody ever goes into the
Debir,
the holy of holy, the holy of the holies, the Debir, is on the Day of Atonement. To perform,
at least according to Leviticus.
Yes.
Yeah, so
correct, that's fair.
Yeah, so if you want to go source critical and historical critical, you could say Isaiah 6 didn't have that stipulation.
Possibly not. But we don't know.
I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying.
But I think part of what's happening in this vision too is that Isaiah has seen into the Holy of Holies, that it's been uncovered, and he has seen, and that's what he's looking at, and that's what's given him, this reaction. So I prefer to think of it as I kind of like Stavropoulos's reading, just because it's visceral and it's edgy, and I think it works on some levels. But I really like this idea that that the writer's working on several levels here, and that this is what he's doing, is he's saying, the covering has been removed, so that Isaiah can actually see right into the Debir and behold the glory of Yahweh. And he is troubled, exceedingly troubled by this.
I mean, I think you could make the case that he'd still be exceedingly troubled even if it wasn't a shameful display.
I think so.
Because you think of Jacob. I've seen God face to face, and I've lived when he wrestles with God, which is in itself an echo to the tabernacle narrative that's coming, where you can't see God's face and live. You can't go into the Holy of Holies and live apart from proper ritual. And so to see God's face, to see God's glory, the Kavod Yahweh, which is not euphemistic in Exodus. In Exodus, the Kavod Yahweh is some sort of splendor, radiance, manifestation of God's fullness, his full presence or something like that, which is then housed in the tabernacle at chapter 40, because that's the whole narrative climax of Exodus. Actually, the glory of Yahweh in particular starts, and this is eventually going to segue into our next topic, because this is an article I'm working on. The Kavod Yahweh starts in chapter 16 specifically. Was it good? Yeah. See, this is more metal than the last one. The Kavod Yahweh starts in Exodus 16. People don't realize that. They think it starts somewhere earlier in the book. It doesn't. The Kavod Yahweh starts in Exodus 16.
Wow.
That being the case, and I'll tell you why I think it does later in the stream, so stick around. Honestly, it's my favorite idea I've ever come up with. So if you want to hear something that I'm working on, yeah, it is concealed. You're right. Yeah, Simone. So the Kavod Yahweh begins there, and then it's actually like almost a character in the story going forward. Instead of just Yahweh, we've got the Kavod Yahweh, the glory of Yahweh, as a character, and who makes appearances at certain points in the narrative, at certain climactic points, really, that are very important. That said, it's not it's physical in the sense that it seems to be tangible, but it doesn't seem to be embodied as far as I think. You can maybe make the case from Exodus 24 that what they see in this proto-tabernacle experience when they the elders and Moses and a few others go up to like a tabernacle / Sinai experience. There's a temple motif going on there, and they see him seated or enthroned, and perhaps you could say then that's the Kavod Yahweh is embodied there. I think you could make an argument for that maybe, but I don't think that's clear in every instance. It seems instead to be some sort of splendor, radiance, or something that is tangible but not necessarily embodied in Exodus. So that gives me pause to think about Kavod being euphemistic everywhere, and even here in Isaiah, in relation to the Shulim as well. I have a different point. Can I make a different point on this?
Yeah, Sommer doesn't agree, but that's okay. So,
Benjamin Sommer, that's fine.
You know another Sommer?
No, I'm just making sure. Yeah,
of course.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. People can have different takes on these things. Maybe he could even convince me that.
But not Kipp.
Not Kipp. Well, no, that Kavod Yahweh is specifically embodied.
Yeah, right.
If the Kavod Yahweh is supposed to be an anthropomorphic Yahweh, I like, sure, let's talk about it. I don't find that particularly clear in Exodus, but again, I actually am open to being compelled on that.
Maybe make a final point on this.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on.
Sure. Yeah. I think my final kind of pushback would be again the framing, the contextual frames, the conceptual frames of temple, and Yahweh on a throne, a beatific vision, so to speak, of Yahweh, which I would say, and others would say, scholars and rabbis for that matter, would say that places like Ezekiel, like in the first chapters of Ezekiel, when he sees a man and a dom seated up there, that it's priestly imagery, in that it is depicting both God and priest at the same time. And so when you see the priest, when you see this figure, it's both God and it's both priest, and it's really, they're both almost the same, almost merging into one. What is the function of the priest symbolically in the temple and the tabernacle? Arguably, based on the clothing, including the hem, which in this specific passage talks about hem with pomegranates of blue, purple, and crimson. I think
Ezekiel.
In his Exodus.
Oh yeah.
Those colors in specific are what the tabernacle is decorated with the curtains.
Yep.
The curtains are the blue, the crimson, and others would argue, and there's a mixed fabrics as well, which the people aren't supposed to mix their fabrics, but the priests do mix their fabrics and in their clothing. And so the colors and the mixed fabrics, I think, are pointing towards the priest is becoming divinized. The priest is becoming godlike in their entering in and going into these spaces. If the vision of Ezekiel is of a priest-god-human mix amalgam, if that's what the priests are doing in this text in Exodus, with their garments, has the hem which has these colors, then I think there's warrant to say that when Isaiah sees Yahweh on the throne, it's possible he has a priestly human vision, like Ezekiel does, like others do, and that would include the shulim, the hem of the garment that is so important for the coloring, for the symbolism of temple of the divine human mix. And I think it would be immediately perceivable to them based on this shared imagery and concept and robing of the priest, that this would be a priestly Yahweh, priestly human-like Yahweh vision. And that leads me away from thinking ultimately that this is euphemistic. But find me a text when we find some Hebrew inscription. It's like shulim is male genitalia.
Right.
I'd be like, okay, well, we really need to rethink this then. But I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. No,
that's my take. At least
it's good.
Yeah.
So, now, I think what did you?
Simone's giving me some Ezekiel here, and the appearance of so far away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. As the appearance of a man. As appearance of a man. I think at one place he says Adam. I looked it up yesterday or this morning. I don't remember. There is a spot where he says like the appearance of man or Adam as well. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong on that,
that's the appearance of his loins, right?
Yeah.
So, which we translate very politely as loins.
Yeah.
But Stavrokopoulou also argues.
Sorry, Simone. Front no fire. From the loins down is fire. Okay,
Yeah.
Interesting. So I think a case you could make then for the glory, because the glory is depicted in fire-like terms, it like smoking, firing. So if you wanted to go there, maybe relation of kavod specifically to euphemistic stuff, maybe that's an interesting route. Yeah. So we'll have to go from there. Sorry, I couldn't see what you're saying.
Which one are you? So no.
Can you give us the exact? Sorry, I'm reading this from very far away. I can't. I'm not really getting the vowel pointing. It's Aish.
Yeah.
Oh, not Ish. Yeah. He has fire crotch. Says someone.
That's Chester.
If you can give me the exact verse, I could see it on my computer, but it's just so far away.
So yeah. So, but I don't know. We and that's something we could. I don't know. It's we should probably
move on
and talk
yeah
about some other things. But I'd like to. I believe we did meet our super chat goal, so I'm very happy about that. We'll open up the safe before we end tonight. We're not going to do it right now, but at some point before we shut her down, we'll open the safe and I will uncover the shulim inside the safe. There we go. That'll be fun. So let's.
Yeah, we can move on from this, and then maybe we'll come back to it, Simone, later.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a couple of super chats that came in to put us over the top. Jester, thank you for the $5. Seeing as Kipp has written no books,
not one.
What are you promoting tonight, and why is the answer the best shirt about feelings ever made? Probably with reference to my I fucking love the Bible shirt that I'm not wearing tonight. I'm repping Ghost tonight. So, but which is also, one of the best shirts ever made. But thank you very much for the super chat, and just by way a reminder for everyone.
Kipp Davis has written no books.
Oh.
Yeah. So
was that Neil?
That was Neil. Yeah, I've got this one too. Which is you'll have to. So the way this works is we can't actually hear the stuff that I play on the screen. So Joel, I have to actually explain to Joel what's happening.
Kipp Davis has written no books.
Like even Kipp's first book was on one of these like newly published texts, a sort of a version of Jeremiah stuff we didn't expect. I'll do a shameless plug for Kipp's great book.
No, he's not. He just when it's nice when scholars come on my channel, they just impromptu say nice things about things that I've written. It's
I've never said a single nice thing about what you've written.
No, I know, but I mean, are you really?
I'm
really
not
a scholar.
I'm not. I'm just in disguise. Just really an evangelical.
That's it.
Trying to pretend.
Yeah. So thank you, Jester. Prixie, overthrow capitalism. Purple, thank you for the $5. I'm gonna have trouble saying this. Perspicuity. I did it.
Perspicuity. No, you didn't.
Perspicuity of the Bible is a pet peeve of mine. You can't believe it in good faith if you have met another human you aren't in charge of. Open the safe. Yes, we will open the safe. Not just yet. You'll have to wait a few minutes.
Brixie, I agree with you. I don't think it's a helpful thing to say. If you wanted to have something in a Christian faith that's like perspicuity, you'd want to go to like bare bones orthodoxy or something like that. In my opinion, but not itself the text. It makes no sense. If you start, once you start thinking about it, translation even itself,
stop
it's like
thinking about the text.
It falls apart. No, it's not helpful.
It does. Yeah, it does.
It's not a helpful category.
No. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lil is back. Treats for Kipp and Dr. Kipp the dog. What's in the safe? You're gonna find out soon.
Yep.
But thank you so much for all the treats. Chuck, now open the damn safe and reveal the glory of its contents already.
The kavod safe.
People are getting a little antsy, so we'll probably have to not delay it too long.
Okay, maybe halfway through our next one. Yeah.
All right. So, Matt T, thanks for the file. Oh, he figured out. Matt T figured out how to super chat. He was complaining about that earlier. Very nice. Thanks, Matt. Just got my shipping notification. Looking forward to it. Congratulations on the book. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoys the book. And if you do end up buying the book, if you do end up reading the book, please give a rating for it, give a review for it on Amazon. This always helps a great deal in terms of how visible the book is in terms of the algorithm and stuff for recommendations. So appreciate that everyone. So Joel, we're shifting gears here now because we want to. Joel has been working. I recently called it Joel's white whale.
It really is.
It really is. So Joel presented to me this article that he has written. You wrote it like it's over a year ago now.
I actually, there's gonna be a lot of shame felt on my part in the next 10 minutes. I wrote this article almost 2 years ago. Like I had a first draft of it almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
2 years ago,
almost.
You had a draft of it. You sent it to you sent it to an article to a journal for publication. It was rejected.
So the first one I sent it to, I retracted it because they were taking too long.
Oh, right.
They said it's gonna be at least almost a year to even get it into peer review.
Right.
And I said, okay, that's a long time.
That's just garbage.
I sent it to a journal and it was rejected. Looking back now, hindsight is 2020. I think I would have rejected it too. I think that I wasn't clear in some of my argumentation. I think I was overly argumentative or overstated my case, or at least tried too much. And I was not aware. I was trying too hard for some certain things that I didn't need to. And you know what? That was some of the peer review comments. And so I take that, and I did change the article quite a bit. I won't say any more on that. There was actually another experience. I'm just going to give you all the dirty history here. I did actually have it with another group who I actually really like. You'd hate them.
I hate them.
Yeah, you would really hate them. But I like what they're doing with Pentateuch and questioning the current paradigms.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
in any case, they let me come in and present the paper to them, their board of editors or their board, and by every appearance, I was under the impression that if this went well, my paper would be in the next volume that they're producing. Okay, I'm not going to give names, but the paper would be in the next. I've already given enough hints if you wanted to know, if you knew.
I also will not give names.
Yeah, no names. So that was about a 6-month process from talking initially to getting it to be presented. And I presented it to about 20 scholars at 5:30 in the morning on Zoom. And so there were some big names in this meeting. I won't say any names again. But they were.
They're
Actually,
big.
one name in particular, I'm a really huge fan of. A huge fan of. I present. I had to go teach immediately after. I was teaching, I think, Galatians and Revelation. It's a weird combo. And
2 things I've never taught.
yeah, for undergrads. And in the middle of teaching, I get an email, and I just see it out of the corner of my eye. And so I had emailed them just before class and said, hey, that went pretty well. I held my own against the questioning after. I think I did really good. And one of the scholars, who's actually, again, a big name, which I won't say, he was defending my idea in the meeting already. I get the email after I'd said to them, hey, do you perchance know when I would know this is going to be published if you want it? And they said to me, and this ruined my day and my week. It was horrible. I texted you.
You did.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
Oh, so mad.
He
I said,
swore a lot.
I didn't. They said, oh, we had no intention of ever publishing this. Thank you for presenting. We don't have any room left.
Seriously, I'll say it. Can I say it? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm sorry, dude. That's bullshit.
I was very frustrated.
That is
yeah.
That is some kind of bullshit.
Just so it's clear, not only did I have to present my article, they asked me to shorten it and to create a presentation. I got up every day at 5:30 in my busiest semester I've ever had, and I created a not interactive, but not 3D. I don't know what the term I'm looking for right now. Very complex PowerPoint that moved and slided around.
What was that? Shoot, I can't.
Yeah, I know the word is escaping me. In any case, a really complex PowerPoint that was
it's not PowerPoint. It's not Keynote.
It's Prezi.
It's the
it's a Prezi. But if you don't know what that is, you don't know what that is. I created this many hours, probably 50 to 60 hours of work to create a new article that was shorter and the presentation. And they tell me, that we had no intention, even though they asked me to change my article so that I could present it. So that took up 6 to 8 months of my life. So that's part of the reason why this thing has taken so long. It's been brutal, and it's a white whale in that everyone who's read it, who isn't a peer reviewer, has gone, this is actually really interesting.
It is really interesting.
Really interesting.
I've read it, and it's really interesting.
But everybody who's the peer reviewers, one of my peer reviewers, I believe they use the term delusional.
Wow.
So that was reviewer 2.
That's really harsh.
Yeah, reviewer 2 with delusional.
Wow.
So all that to say, this is my white whale. I will die on the hill of getting this thing somewhere. I actually recently submitted it somewhere else, which I won't say where, with some help from actually I can say who I got help from. Awesome professor at UBC, Isaac Soon.
Oh, okay.
Isaac Soon, he's a New Testament scholar.
Okay.
But he's tons of articles. He's a friend. We get lunch we're far away, so we not too often, but we talk a bit. But Isaac, I got him. He actually asked to read it after I told him it got after everything that happened, and he said, "Let me read it." And then he was vicious. He's like, "Too long. This is a Hydra. You're doing too many things. Stop it. Here's all the things you could delete and change."
There was a lot in there.
There's a lot. The original, the newer one's better. The newer one's much shorter.
Yeah, I only took a look at it starting today. So
Did you look at the old one or the new one?
The new one.
Okay.
So, but I didn't get very far.
Yeah.
Again,
it's still a big article
to it. So,
in any case, I think it's much better and more concise. And now you're all wondering, what the heck is he talking about?
Yeah. So tell us, Joel.
Yeah.
Tell us your big idea. Talk to us about the white whale.
Yeah. So it relates to the glory of Yahweh that I was saying earlier, because I have a different methodology than Kipp, I think, when it comes to Pentateuch.
Yeah.
I'm in a camp that's actually a significant minority, where I think we need to step back and ask questions about what does it mean for text to be coherent in the ancient world? What does it mean for whoever put the Pentateuch together for it to be coherent? Is it not coherent? What are standards of coherence that we have? I mentioned this last stream, but guys like Tuman and Teeter, standards of incoherence, their article, like what actually are these texts doing, and are we treating them appropriately? My advisor ripped my big paper first, shreds, draft to shreds. Yeah, it doesn't stop.
No.
It never stops. Is that it?
But then added, but you're right. Rewrite the damn paper.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, and so what was I saying? I lost my train of thought there.
Sorry. Pay
That's
no
okay.
attention to the chat. Just continue going.
Yeah.
I will watch the chat.
Yeah. So what when it comes to what is a coherent text, and can we say the text is coherent? I think we need to reevaluate. And so this entire article is premised on. I don't think the main argument actually. Now that I say that out loud, somebody we know, I won't say a name again, a common friend said the argument who read it said it doesn't need to be premised on what you premise it on. It could be, you could do it without that, and it could still work.
Good advice.
It's actually very good advice.
Yeah,
I don't want to say their name again because I don't know if they want that out there.
Right.
But I was so I was really happy with that comment. What is the idea? Here we go. Finally, it's been forever. 20 minutes later.
That's right. But you had to get you had to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
You had to express because he's been bitching about this for a very long time now.
And you might be saying, why are you saying an idea like this out loud, Joel? Shouldn't you wait? And the only problem is so many people have read it now because I gave my idea to that group that it's like they could just steal it.
Yes.
I hope they don't, but they really could. It's out there now.
It's out there.
Yeah. In any case, so what the idea is, I don't think the golden calf story is all that we think it is in Exodus 32. Specifically Exodus 32, not Deuteronomy. I believe it's 10, maybe 9. I can't remember. Is it 9 and 10? Where it talks about a retelling of the calf. Not that story. That's actually a different story. It tells things differently than Exodus 32. Exodus 32 is very odd in how it tells the story about the golden calf. There are narrative inconsistencies. There are things in the story that don't make sense. I'm going to name a couple. One, Moses is up on the mountain with God in 31 and in 32 for that matter. And God says, hey, they've made a calf. Moses says, okay, God. God says, I'm going to destroy them, like wipe them out.
Yeah.
And Moses says, don't do it. He pleads. And God says, I won't do it. I won't wipe them out. Then Moses goes down the mountain and he kills as many as he can. And you're
Moses just does on his.
Moses does that.
It's
like you wonder, didn't God not just say, don't kill them all? But he didn't kill everyone, but he killed a ton of people. So it's at least like, what's going on here? Second, Moses comes down the mountain in Exodus 32, and it seems like he doesn't know what's going on. It's like, oh, I hear the sound in the camp. It's like war, and it's like crazy upheaval. All these, like, the camp is completely out of control. That's how the story leads you in. They come down the mountain and they're hearing it's like war in the camp. It's total chaos.
That's the actual term. It's like a war.
It's like a war. So it's just the most completely disorganized, just debaucherous thing, and complete lack of constraint. That's the way the story leads you in. Yep. And you wonder, well, why is it doing that when Moses was just told to build a calf? Like, what's the point of this narrative? What's going on? Moses gets down, and
the
Levites, yes, he does. Yeah. The Levites at least come to him. He says, "Whoever's for Yahweh to me," and the Levites come, and they're actually quite violent folk in the Pentateuch.
They are.
Yeah, we can get to that in a minute. They're on the ground. Moses burns the calf up, makes them drink it in the water. So he deals with the calf. Then he turns to Aaron and says, why did you make them commit this great sin? And Aaron goes, oh, the calf, like, Yeah. Moses actually never responds to that. Aaron thinks that Moses is talking about the calf. I don't think Moses is talking about the calf. Mm-hmm. What is the great sin? And this term great sin continues on in the narrative. I don't think it's the calf. Because immediately after that, what is this? The main text, the most important text in all of it, I'll tell you the verse. just so I don't forget it exactly. I believe it's verse 25, but just so I'm sure. Yep. Verse 25 and verse 26 of Exodus 32, specifically verse 25, says, Moses saw the people that they were unrestrained because Aaron had allowed them to be unrestrained for a laughingstock among their enemies. And then he does the violence thing, and they kill a whole bunch of people. Unrestraint is what Moses condemns them for. Not the calf. It's their unrestraint. They're out of control. I think Moses is responding to a Sabbath violation.
Exodus 32 what?
25.
25, okay.
My entire argument is that there are two sins in the golden calf story. One is the calf and idolatry. Two is Sabbath violation. The immediately preceding context of the golden calf story in chapter 31 is a law about violating the Sabbath, which leads to death. Immediately preceding chapter 32 in this story. Immediately following the story, in chapter 35, you have another law about violating the Sabbath, and being put to death. It's called the Sabbath frame in the literature on Exodus. So the story is framed by Sabbath and death penalty. I think that Moses is actually putting them to death for breaking the Sabbath because of their unrestraint. And you might say, well, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say Sabbath. No, it doesn't. But it tells you in every other way. There are many signs that Sabbath is going on. And then my main proof I'll actually give you in a second, besides the narrative, as I've just told you, with unrestraint and the great sin. There are problems as well as you continue in the narrative, because you get to a point where Moses says, I'm going to go up and see if I can make atonement for you. Later on in verse 30. I'm going to go make atonement for you. It's like, why would he need to make atonement when he already knows Yahweh's answer for the calf? He just talked to him on the mountain. But again, I think he's actually talking about a Sabbath sin in this story. And he's going to go up and he's going to actually talk about two things. In verse 31, he says, this people has sinned a great sin. That is, they've broken the Sabbath. And they made for themselves gods of gold. And they did idolatrous stuff. They did two things. And there are two sins being talked about. And so you say then, I know the first response will be, but why doesn't it just say Sabbath then? And so this gets into how these stories are told. How complex do these stories actually get? I think they actually get quite complex. There is one law in all of Exodus, in the narrative that we have, in this text we have, where the Israelites have not agreed to this law. They've heard all the laws of the covenant code, 21 to 23 and 20 of the Ten Commandments. They've heard all of that. And they said, we agree to it in chapter 24. They have not heard the one law that was just said in the previous context when Moses was on the mountain, which is anyone who breaks Sabbath will be put to death. That law doesn't exist anywhere else. It's only with Moses on the mountain. So Moses comes down the mountain knowing they should die for Sabbath violation. They don't know that. They've not been told that in the narrative. I think the reason the word Sabbath is not used is a coy way that the compiler of this text is kind of putting you in the same shoes as the Israelites. Hey, I'm putting you to death right now, Moses does. And it doesn't say actually that Yahweh told him to do that. It doesn't say that in the story. He just says, thus says Yahweh. It's a prophetic formula. Like Moses can completely be doing that by himself. Yahweh's on the mountain. He's not with Moses. He doesn't say Yahweh said to him. Moses puts them to death for Sabbath violation, even though they don't know they should die for Sabbath violation. And so the narrative doesn't use the word Sabbath as a coy way of being like, hey, you didn't tell him. Hey, you're acting on something they don't have knowledge of, Moses. You have knowledge. They don't have knowledge of it. Okay, so that's the basic idea. And I could get into way more. It's a whole article. But then you might say to me, you should say to me, how the heck is it a Sabbath on the golden calf story, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the fun part of the article.
So the first half of this article is literally walking from Exodus 16 all the way to Exodus 32 and examining every scene and chronological marker given to us. And if you follow the scenes and the chronological markers, you can actually trace from when the Sabbath is introduced in chapter 16 all the way to 32 and to 40, and I think even beyond, through narrative scenes and chronological markers. No one did this. There's no one who's done this.
Wow.
In the literature. I don't get it.
But now you have Simone convinced that this is super cool.
Yeah.
And she's going to go over all this stuff with Vine Comb. So now she's going to go through all the stuff.
Simone, I'm actually happy to send you the article if you want to email me.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Yeah, I
should read it. It's pretty interesting.
And so the glory of Yahweh, the Kavod Yahweh, starts in chapter 16 on, drumroll, a proto-Sabbath. The first Sabbath narrated in the book of Exodus is when the Kavod Yahweh appears. And then you start counting days. The second day, the sixth day, the seventh day is the next Sabbath. And then it keeps going from then on. So the first Sabbath day is the Kavod Yahweh. And believe it or not, I argue, the Kavod Yahweh only appears on Sabbath days in the book of Exodus.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a literary character appearing on Sabbath days in Exodus as a motif. And so you find the Kavod Yahweh, the heavy cloud, the Kavod cloud in chapter 19. You find the glory of Yahweh in chapter 24. You don't find it on the golden calf. You do find it in chapter 40 when the Kavod Yahweh enters into the tabernacle, again on a Sabbath day. Actually, others, not just me, have argued that day is a Sabbath day as well. That's one of the only things in the literature that's out there in chapter 40. So there are actually literary parallels going on in this text relating to Sabbath and then also preparation for Sabbath. And you can see that as the narrative unfolds. Now, of course, this is all based on a presupposition that there is intentionality in the way these texts are structured in a deep way. And many in Pentateuchal studies don't agree with that. And so that's when I say my methodology is very much guiding me here. I think you could still argue. I'll stop now.
No.
I can pour you another. I don't know if you're done.
Just about.
My methodology guides me there, but you could still make the Sabbath argument for the golden calf story without that, without this narrative structuring. But I still think it's there. So I am making that argument. There. What do you think?
See, I think I like it, and I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not against reading what I would consider the late layers of these texts as comprehensive, coherent compositions.
Mm-hmm.
Not against that at all. But I guess I think one of the things that I think through when I listen to you talk about this, I'm like, I guess one of the questions I would have right away is if that's it kind of seems to step the actual golden calves sort of as they're not in your reading. That's not the central feature of this narrative.
It's a central feature. It's
okay.
There's two things going on.
Yeah,
both idolatry and Sabbath violation.
Yeah. Okay.
I would put them actually as equals.
Right.
But some of the main action.
But the way, I guess the way that you describe it, and then the way that the way that the author is not being direct about just saying these are Sabbath violations, makes me think through what's going on from a source critical perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where because one of the things that the scholars have tended to do when they approach this text is situate this historically critically,
mm-hmm.
As a polemic against the against the shrines of Bethel and Dan and that tends to be where the focus goes, and I think that's I still think that's legitimate, and I think there's a place for that. But now what you have me wondering is because this is something that takes place over an extended portion of the text, and it sounds to me, I would have to go through it more carefully myself. I'd be very interested now to look and see how Leona Feldman has treated this part of I assume you've read.
So I actually cite her in the longer version, and so I went through her recent the Consuming Fire. her allocations of P and non-P.
Yeah.
Fun fact: my argument still holds.
No. I think, but what I think is, well, I guess the question to where I go is, how much of this is extensive structuring on top of some of these older, like if is the golden calf story something that was there at an earlier stage that that this writer is now incorporating into this broader, more extensive narrative that he's trying to tell. He's working very hard. He's at pains to develop the arc of the Sabbath in this section.
Yep.
And is then using this golden calf story as a component of that, or maybe even the key piece. And he's just kind of working. He's now worked around that.
So basically what you're saying is, from a source critical perspective, which I'm not saying I actually adopt this here. I
can't say that.
No, I just actually don't like it. No, it's just not my general perspective is I'm pretty skeptical.
Yes.
Of a lot of things.
Many things.
Yeah. But if we went with non-P and P, which are the typical divisions in these texts that we have now, so Feldman will give us P, and then everything else is typically non-P. Generally speaking, if you take away P, which source critics would say is later, coming in, you actually still can work the same thing,
right?
So you can even count the Sabbaths. I went through it.
Interesting.
All the way to the golden calf.
Wow. So
you lose some things. You do lose some things, and it would actually read a bit differently. Yeah. But the substance could stay with P. So I did this whole thing in my head. Whether or not, it doesn't matter if I agree with it. I still went through it in my head. And then I went, when P, if you added P in, it would actually just emphasize the entire story. It would actually make it clearer.
Yes.
It would make it clear.
I think that's okay.
And so it does work in that way. So it could have been a non-P, if we go with that way, invention, which supplemented by P was just heightened and emphasized. And it all actually still holds together, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It would probably require a little bit more editorial work than sometimes people say in something like 32. But yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's super interesting, and I have to read it. I have to read it again, a couple of times as I was looking at the tables today, in terms of your discussion of the arc, the Sabbath arc. Can I call it the Sabbath arc?
Sure.
I was like, I was looking at a couple things in there, and was just, I have to look more closely, just to make sure that that everything you're saying in there is on point. Because some of it, just at a glance, I was kind of like, is that really okay? So, but yeah, no, it is super interesting though, and like I think it's it's I don't know, this we've talked about this before, like even with how important, like that, I think that's a lot of what excited me about this article. I think the first time I read it was just how much I think a lot of scholars, maybe it's my own ignorance, but in my experience, it feels like a lot of people have been sleeping on just how central the Sabbath is to a lot of these, what I would identify as certainly as H and P narratives and elements within the texts. We talked about this when we talked about when we had our back and forth about the child sacrifice text.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel chapter 25, right?
Or 20. You're thinking 20.
Sorry, 20.
Yeah,
yes.
20, yeah.
Ezekiel 20. That's one of the things that comes up several times in Ezekiel's rehearsal of the wilderness story is the Sabbath.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just super important.
Yeah.
They thought it was super important, and that just makes me. I that's what I really liked about when I read your article, is that you're really bringing that out as an important feature of what I would identify as this layer of the text. I would have to go back and look and see about the source code.
That's a really good point. So if you take Ezekiel 20, who appears to know of a Pentateuchal narrative, others, not myself and not evangelicals, have argued specifically, and it's one of my first footnotes, that Ezekiel, redactor or Ezekiel, whoever, saw in the golden calf story of Exodus 32 a Sabbath violation. They say that in the literature. And then they go, what a weirdo. To which I say, what if there was actually a Sabbath violation in Exodus 32?
Wow.
And Ezekiel just read this text better than we did?
But reviewer 2 said you're delusional.
I'm delusional. So is Ezekiel.
But we all knew Ezekiel was delusional.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, let's get real here. Ezekiel was a bit of a nutter.
He's got some wild vision.
Yeah, he does. So yeah.
I don't know what time are we at here. I want to be.
We're almost at 2 hours. Wow.
Okay.
We should probably open the safe.
You should open the safe. Yeah.
But I need your help with something.
Okay.
On the bookcase top shelf, there are my Delitzsch commentaries, and then there's the Hebrew Bible right there, the black one. Grab that. I need that.
Whoa.
So because the combination's in there.
Yeah.
So
here comes the safe.
I haven't opened it in a very, very long time. So
the picking up sticks guy from Misinterpretation. Yeah. So I would argue. All
right.
I actually will not say that in public because that one could get stolen. If you want to text me or send me a message, I can talk to you about the picking up sticks guy and how I think this all relates. But yeah, I don't want to go beyond that. There's a coherence here going on. Yeah, that's all I can say. It is related, and it makes a lot more sense. So another thing I didn't say in the golden calf story, which you'll pick up on if you read it. Suddenly at the end of the story, you know this if you read it, Yahweh hits him with another plague, right? So in verse 33, or he says, whoever sinned, I'll blot him out. So God says, I'm going to deal with it. You just go lead them. Like, stop what you're doing, Moses. You go lead them. And then my angel's going to go with you. And when I punish them, it's up to me how I punish them for their sin. And I would argue the sin there is specifically the Sabbath. That idem per idem formula, it's a Hebrew syntax formula. It pushes it into the indeterminate future. That's what this does. It's like, it's up to him when he's going to do it. The very next verse, it says, then he afflicted the people for the calf. So how does that verse even fit with what comes after? Many people have said this doesn't fit at all. And I argue it actually doesn't fit if you just think of the calf only. However, if the sin is the Sabbath sin, it makes perfect sense. Hey, I'm going to deal with when I want to deal with their Sabbath sin, I'll deal with their Sabbath sin. This is what it should have looked like. And then he just gives them a plague. He doesn't even say anyone dies. He just hits them and they move on. So again, there are two things going on here, and the inconsistencies in this narrative actually make way more sense if there's a subtext of both Sabbath and calf. That's the argument.
So nice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to recognize Alpha Centauri, and I'm glad you're here. And yes, the book has pictures in it, and surprise, pictures that I drew.
Oh wow!
For the book, which is so it's got two maps. A map of the land of southern Canaan, and a map of the ancient Near East, the four empires at the end of the Bronze Age, and then it's got a reconstruction of the Temple of Solomon.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sorry, 4 pictures, and then there's another one. It's a drawing from one of Deaver's books that I basically just hand redid. But yeah. So yes, it's got 4 pictures.
How did you draw the cherubim?
I didn't.
Okay.
I cheated. It's a pretty simple. The point was just to give a basic layout. And I just drew, the portico and the Haykal and the DeVere. I didn't put any furniture inside of it because I wanted it to be more of a, and because those are harder to
Yes, totally.
right.
Totally.
So I was my original plan was to draw the Cheddar beam, and my original plan was also to do the classic Neo-Assyrian cherubim as the
yeah.
the
Well, I mean, that's what
line,
you should do in the
basically.
temple.
So,
I have a bigger question of what are the cherubim in the
are
tabernacle?
they more like serpentine?
Yeah.
I think there's
There's
that's
warrant for that at
probably-
least. Yeah.
I think that's probably on point. So okay, so I've any guesses just before I actually crack it open? What's inside the safe?
Throw those in. I'll introduce this one.
Yeah,
I
okay.
skipped ahead one just because we're kind of far on time now.
We are. It's,
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're going into the uncharted territory.
Yeah.
now, aren't we?
This is the most ugly scotch in the world.
So it's going to be a small pour.
Yeah, this is a Lefroy 10 cask strength. So it's most people who drink this spit it out because it's so strongly smoky and tastes like iodine and burning hospital and band-aids. But for some people who like scotch, they actually enjoy it. One of my favorite actual bottles just because it's so unique. But Kipp likes peat and smoke.
I do like peat. And smoke.
Let's see if you can actually handle this.
I probably
Lefroy's
can.
ads, when you watch them, they just have someone who's never had it before have a sip, and then they just record their face. So we'll see.
Sorry, I'm being persecuted in the chat.
Oh,
here.
what's that?
So well, oh, sorry. But I did notice somebody suggested Hypatia wondered if there's barbecue children from the Moloch sacrifice in the safe. That's wow. That is
a
also
little bit, 'cause I don't know how you
also
look at
quite dark.
It's in the black glass.
So, did you have to draw Italy relative to Greece? So, because I did it sober, I did it correctly. So it's not the same map that I drew for Bad Science Sunday a couple weeks ago. It's actually like legitimately a proper map. So, all right. Oh, North Texas. Is there an artifact in the safe? Must be something important. And I guess depending on who you are, could be an artifact or artifacts. Joel, do you have any guesses?
I already told you teeth of the scholars you've devoured.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I opened it, and
Here we go.
And I'm about to reveal.
Whoa!
Oh,
That was unexpected.
That was unexpected. Do you know what these are? Can I show you what these are?
Yeah.
So these.
It's pictures of himself in the swimsuit.
They're not. So these are the good ones here.
Huh.
So this is.
I reckon,
I'll just put those on the floor. These are my. This is my collection of Uncle Scrooge comics.
Uncle Scrooge comics.
Yes. So pay no attention to the labels. But this is 4-color number 456. Also known as Uncle Scrooge number 2, that was published, I believe, in 1949. Back to the Klondike. And the one Joel is holding is Uncle Scrooge number 1. It's in rough shape though.
Despite that, it's been appraised at $130.
Oh, it's probably worth like a boatload more than that now. So, but this one's actually in relatively good shape. This is Uncle Scrooge number 3. Which one is this? Oh, this is the horseradish story. I remember. So that one there is Uncle Scrooge number 1. Only a poor old man. This one here might be one of my no, not that one. It's this one here. I'll show this one. This one here might be my favorite Uncle Scrooge story of all time. What's it called?
Seven Cities of
the Seven
Cibola?
Cities of Cibola. Yeah. That's Uncle Scrooge number 7. I believe that one was published in 19.
It smells like 1950,
50
or whatever,
1 or 2 maybe. So, but it's this story by Carl Barks. This is an awesome story. You guys everybody should totally read the Seven Cities of Cibola. I'll tell you what the story's about. It's about Uncle Scrooge taking his nephews, Donald and Huey and Dewey and Louie, to Mexico because he's heard from like a local archaeologist about this legend of this 7 cities of Cibola, which were these cities made of these mythical. I believe they were Aztec cities made of gold. And so he goes looking for them and actually finds them. And and the Beagle Boys follow. So I won't spoil the rest of the story, but it's so great. I encourage everyone to read it.
All right.
So, but I've got a whole bunch of classic Uncle Scrooge comics in my safe. I've got a bunch of other. I think they're pretty much all. These are newer ones. Yeah, these are all like newer Uncle Scrooge comics, which are still cool, but not as cool. I've got. Did you ever see? You were a kid once. Maybe this was even before your time. Tailspin.
Oh, I just vaguely remember.
Yeah. I'm Tailspin comics.
Nice.
So yeah,
man.
So
someone says I effing love nerds.
Yeah, right.
Nerds are the best.
We are.
So I'm a total loser myself.
Yeah, it's oh hey, everyone knows this one too, right? So yeah. So that is DuckTales #1. Actually.
Oh, is this worth anything now?
I haven't even looked. It might be. It probably is.
It's in really good condition.
So yeah, these ones are all in perfect shape.
And this isn't a reprint. This is
I bought these all when they first came out. So not.
Oh, this is actually from way back when.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Way back when he says.
Kipp's he's like what 33, 34?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah. So that's I have a collection of what else is in here? Oh, I think this is probably interesting too. Actually, these are interesting. I got a bunch of these. You recognize those?
Oh yeah, okay.
So these are I've got a bunch of old Canadian banknotes. Like really, really old. So those are fun. Oh, look, there's look at this.
Huh.
See one of those?
$2 banknote.
That's a $2 bill. Holy cow. So yeah.
Very cool.
So that's neat.
You collect comics, I collect scotch.
That's right. I actually haven't bought a comic in many, many, many years, but I have kept all the ones, well, not all of them, but I kept a whole bunch of the ones that I bought. And there's an interesting story. The reason why this is not.
Are you going to tell them about the Philistine foreskins back there, though?
Oh, shut up. Hey, maybe we can segue because there is something else that and this isn't something we discussed, but we kind of.
Before you do, you want to try another scotch?
Yeah, let's do it.
So yours is there.
I will put these.
This
away.
is the. By the way, again, this is the most disgusting scotch in the world, according to most people. It's not in a like low quality way. It's a high quality scotch, but people hate it. So yours is there.
It's the high quality. Oh, I put that one away too.
I just want to see its face. I want it on film. Oh, so no water is being added.
Okay.
What does it smell like to you?
I'm terrible at this, by the way. I have a bad sense of smell in the
first place,
which is great. It's if there's one sense that is diminished, be thankful if it's your sense of smell.
Totally. Heavy smoke for me.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you.
And almost like hospital, like medicinal.
Yes.
Yeah, like actually, iodine or something.
It does smell like the hospital.
It's like the hospital. I often say that this one tastes and smells like a burning hospital.
Oh, he did say that when he came over.
So cheers.
Cheers, my friend. So this is beloved.
Mm-hmm. That's the face right there I was looking for.
Yeah, I gotta say,
wow, that's aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't drink anymore. Stop. Yeah, add water. It actually gets way better with water. Yeah, that's the face right there.
Boy.
So yeah, I did that because I wanted you to have the full experience. It actually tastes way better with water. So you'll be good then.
All
just that much, yeah. Just give it a minute.
Simone says it's that. Simone, do you drink it straight? Simone says it's the good stuff.
I mean, goodness is in the eye of the beholder,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
as a Scotch nerd, I actually really like it, but I wouldn't Like I brought this to my friend's house one evening, and his wife tried it, and she said it tastes like Band-Aids.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it kind of does.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, Simone drinks it sensibly by the looks of it here.
Yeah. A little bit of water can help a lot of certain types of scotches. Yeah. This is a Lafroig 10 cask strength, so it's not Lafroig 10. Those are very different. Lafroig 10 is a regular release you can get on any shelf anywhere. Lafroig 10 cask strength is very hard to get. I had to kill 3 people to get this bottle, in very vicious ways. And I've only ever gotten a hold of it once in BC where we live. Might be easier in some other places, but it's a much higher quality than Lafroig 10, and it's a higher ABV as well. You caught up?
Okay.
Just making sure here.
Yeah, I'm just. But so there was a few things here because I wanted to. There's a couple things I noticed in the chat here. So first of all,
and you also had another topic you want to talk about.
Yeah. So I'm going to segue into this. Wolkenstoke. I did see your question this morning on Daily Atheist Morning Show, and I answered it, but I think it was like literally right at the end, so it may not have gone through. So Wolkenstoke's question here is on Deuteronomy chapter 22. Mm-hmm. So this is the garment.
Yep.
For proof of virginity. He wanted me to look at that. Yeah. He says here, I was bugging you about the bloody sheet law this morning on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Does tokens of her virginity support the idea that multiple evidences can be brought to defend the woman? And I looked at the text and I would say no. All the text says in Deuteronomy 22. Do you have it?
I'm still looking here.
Okay, it's Deuteronomy 22.
Yeah.
Because it's probably
right after the mixed tassel or the tassels and the woven materials. Yeah. Yes. Verse 13. Yeah.
22:13.
Oh wait. No, that is the divorce one. Sorry, I'm getting them confused here.
Sorry, I have to. Oh right, I wasn't on this computer earlier today. Oh shoot, shut up. Let's do that. Okay. Right, man. Where's the moment? Oh yeah, this is it. So this is JPS. A man marries a woman and cohabits with her. Then he takes an aversion, and this is 22:13. He takes an aversion to her and makes up charges against her and defames her, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I found she was not a virgin. In such a case, the girl's father and mother shall produce the evidence of the girl's virginity before the elders of the town at the gate. And the girl's father shall say to the elders, I gave this man to my daughter to wife, and he has taken an aversion to her. So he has made up charges, saying, I did not find your daughter a virgin, but here is the evidence of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread out the cloth before the elders of the town. The elders of the town shall then take the man and flog him, and they shall fine him and So the question here is, can this text be used to support that there are multiple pieces of evidence that are used to support the girl's virginity? I say no, not just based on looking at what the Hebrew text says. I'm looking here at like verse where is it? Verse 15 here. Mm-hmm. Where is it? Take the father of the girl and the mother, and they will bring out et bituli hanar, the basically it's literally the virginity of the girl, to the elders of the city at the gate, to the gate. So basically all it says, you bring out the virginity, the object, or it could be objects. It is plural. Objects of virginity, I guess, of the girl. However, it's always
which verse?
That's verse 15.
Yeah, the Betulim. Is that what you're saying?
So, but it kind of looks. It's possibly.
It might be an abstract plural.
Though, right?
I think it's actually so I don't know this law super well. I do a lot of work in law, but this one is not one I've done a ton of work on. It looks like it might just be an abstract plural.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I pointed out when I responded to you earlier is that when the elders of the town, it says in verse, is it the next verse? He's taken a version to remain of charge to say identified. Oh, right. In verse 17, right at the end of verse 17, they shall, it says these are it's plural though, again, but that's possibly just because bitulim is an abstract plural. So demonstratives have to agree in number and gender with their antecedents.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the virginity
Of my daughter,
of my daughter. But then it says they spread out super small.
Simlach, like a cloth.
Hasimlach.
Yeah.
It's the cloth. It's just that's singular.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't think that you can use this text to support the idea that this suggests that there are multiple proofs that are provided for the girl's virginity. I'm not even sure like what that means. Clearly it has to do with the sheep. So it's that's the primary object there.
Yeah, my only question would be, what is the purpose of the cloth? Is it, because it doesn't say, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Because people assume what it means.
The cloth, yeah.
But what actually is it? Like,
it's a very good question.
Is the cloth like, hey, here's a big spread of all the evidences? I don't know.
That would be, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess.
That's a total just out of my head.
Yeah.
My first thought is that the Betulim it's an abstract plural.
Yep.
And it's just an evidence of virginity.
Yeah.
So a concept being made abstract through the plural, which happens in Hebrew. That's my first thought. Yeah,
I would agree. So, but I would say no. I would say plausibly, but I don't think it's definitely not certainly, or even probably. But I think it's within the realm of possibility. But that's as far as I would go. But
it is only in this text that evidence of virginity is the Betulim. State of virginity does happen in Leviticus.
Okay.
And Judges and Ezekiel and Sirach. Anyways, yeah.
So I'm sorry, Anjar, that you had to wait so long. I promised to open the safe upon receiving 10 teal super chats. Now was refusing to. I didn't refuse. Everybody should please go buy my book. Stop it, Aunt Chair. That's bad advice. So I wanted to. One of the things that the longest chapter in the book is the chapter that I wrote on institutions of the king and the prophet.
Yeah.
I think it's actually just called Kings and Prophets. And I spent a huge amount of time in that chapter talking about the succession narrative. It's my take on the succession narrative, which appears in 2 Samuel, starting in chapter 9 and goes all the way through to 1 Kings chapter 2, is where scholars generally tend to situate the succession narrative. There have been a lot of great things written about it. I particularly like Joel Baden's book on.
I actually haven't read that one.
On David. It's a good book.
Yeah. I'm generally not a big fan of the way he does source criticism, but some of his other takes I like more.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a source criticism book, so I probably
would like it. Yeah.
So I read not the entire thing, but I read a good chunk of the chapter for a podcast. I think it was Truth and Tradition. It's a smaller one run by Jackson Atwell. He's a cool guy. But Chuck was just saying here that after I heard the David succession narrative was in the book, I was sold. I was mowing when I heard Kipp lay it out in someone's podcast. I had to stop mowing and just listen. Riveted. And I appreciate that, but I brought that up. Yes, it was on truth and tradition. And I have a member chat here I have to get to from Lil. Does a guess of the golden duck count for a win for the safe and treats for everyone? So
I mean, golden duck kind of counts. It was a duck.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
I think that's pretty good.
You were close. You were way closer than anybody.
Yeah,
way closer.
that was pretty good.
It's very true. Very good. So, but I wanted to bring this up because of something that happened to me over the weekend. I was watching. I wasn't participating. Was I? No, I was watching Bad Science Sunday, as one does. Watch Bad Science Sunday on Sunday nights, everyone. And when it was over, I switched over to watch a stream with DJ Ozzy, who's a friend of mine. You don't know this guy, but he had on a gentleman, and they were talking about David's presentation in the Bible, as in particular his presentation in his relationships with women.
Mm-hmm.
We know about his relationship with Bathsheba, and the way in which that's framed from a modern perspective is pretty grim.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross, right?
Yeah.
But and this is something. So one of the things that I bring up in the book, I talk quite a bit about that story. But one of the things that I bring up in the book, one of the things that I brought up in this show with Oz, I ended up actually getting sucked in and going on screen for about 30 minutes to talk to this guy. But one of the things that I brought him was the story of David and Abigail, which
I was about to mention it.
I
was waiting to say it.
I think a lot of people sleep on this.
Oh, I actually use it in my undergrad as an example of how bad David is.
Interesting. So because I want to, like, can I just read?
Yeah.
Start with the and I won't read the whole story, but I want to read. So basically, the way this goes, Nabal is a wealthy, I think, powerful. It's not his real name, Nabal. That's what
It means fool.
means. Fool, stupid person.
Yeah.
That's what the writer is calling him.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, actually. There's a recall of this in the story of Amnon and Tamar.
Oh, interesting.
In 1 Samuel, chapter 14, I think.
16?
After maybe it's 16.
It might be 16.
Yeah, it might be 16. I'm
horrible at pagination like that. Yeah.
So look at us. We're great pair here. So in that story, when after Amnon has sexually assaulted his half sister and tells her to get out of his house, she says to him, "Don't send me away. Don't be like one of the Nabalim." Right? Don't be a stupid guy. Don't be like one of the stupid people.
Yeah.
Be smart about this, right? So there's, I mean, it's an important feature of, this larger narrative arc, this story arc that the Deuteronomist is developing. But anyways, Nabal, because we don't know what else to call this guy, is a powerful, wealthy man. I think he's a rival of David's. I think. In whether you think that or not, he's certainly somebody of influence. David basically comes to him and says, "Hey, be a good guy. Me and my men are out here. Help us out. Give us some food from your flocks, and we'll be on our way." I kind of read that as a bit of a shakedown. I know other scholars read this as a bit of a shakedown. David's like, "Hey, look at me and my army here. You'll be just fine if you help us out." Nabal refuses. David gets furious and decides to kill him. Nabal's wife, Abigail, wise Abigail, is in a panic about this, intervenes and placates David so that he doesn't kill her husband. And she comes back to him and tells him, you idiot, you have no idea what I just did to save your life. And he falls over and dies. And then right after that, what happens is David then approaches Abigail. And now I have to, I think, is it 1 Samuel chapter 4? I think. No, 2 Samuel. Sorry, 2 Samuel.
2 Samuel, yeah. I think we made the mistake earlier.
Yeah. So, is it 4? No, it's before that, isn't it? Because he's not the king yet. So maybe it's 3. Actually, maybe it's 1 Samuel chapter.
Look how good we are at this,
20. Everybody. Shoot, this is bad. The easy way to do this is for me just to do a search for her name. There we go. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, 1 Samuel 25. Sorry. Was chat already on it before me? They probably are because they're super smart. 1 Samuel 25. So she right after this happens, right after she's rescued her family and her house, and Nabal dies. It says this. I have to go down quite a ways. So yes, Nabal dies. Then we go down to verse 39. Okay, David rejoices after Nabal dies. He says, "Praise be Yahweh who championed my cause against the insults of Nabal and held back his servants from wrongdoing. Yahweh has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down on his head." Then it says David sent some of his boys, his messengers, to take Abigail as his wife, as his woman. And when David's servants came to Abigail and Carmel and told her that David had sent them to take her to be his woman, she, then it says, bowed down low with her nose on the dirt, basically, on the ground. And this is what she says. She says, I gotta look more closely at the Hebrew here. That's verse 41. So it says, look here, your female slave, your Amma, is what she responds. To be another word used for female slave, shivka. She's basically saying, I am your slave. I will be your slave to wash the feet of the slaves of my Lord. And then it says that she got up then and she mounted a donkey and took 5 of her attendants with her, and she went with David's men, and that's literally the last we hear of her in the entire story. Except there's at one point in 2 Samuel it mentions that she gave birth to a son for him, but that's it. That is the only role she plays in this story. I brought it up. I think it's important to draw attention to what she says to David. What she does. She buries her face in the dirt, and then she says, "I am your slave, and I will wash the feet of your slaves." And I bring this story up to say, I mean, really, is that what's going on here? This is one of these things that's Nitty. Nitty,
yeah,
right? He said, people. When they talk about this story, they talk about her like a Disney princess, right?
Oh yeah, no,
not at all.
No, I completely agree.
Not at all. This is a woman who is in a position of vulnerability and duress, and is responding the only way I think she thinks that she can. And it's not to be your lover,
No.
your companion, your friend. I will wash the feet of your slaves, is what she says to him.
So if anyone from my world, more of like the typical Christian growing up, I didn't grow up a Christian, but like evangelical, David's the great king of the past, that whole perspective, you need to be very careful with that. There is a reason that the book of Chronicles says of David, you cannot build the temple because you're so bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
David is arguably portrayed as a very violent and mean person, despite the fact that he still did worship Yahweh. So is it a case of a perfect guy who just did that silly old David Bathsheba thing? Or is it actually a guy who's deeply flawed that God still worked with because he made a covenant to work with him? Yeah. I go to the latter, and I'm actually going to add fuel to the fire you just started burning. I'm just going to read a really quick story. This is in 2 Samuel 3:12. Abner sent messengers to David where he was, saying, "To whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me. Look, my hand is with you to bring you all of Israel. I'll bring all of Israel over to you." He said, "Good. I will make a covenant with you." Pay attention. "I'm asking only one thing from you." Here it is. "You shall not see my face unless you bring Michal, the daughter of Saul, when you come to see me." Listen up. Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, a man of shame, the son of Saul, not actually his name, right? Yeah. The man of shame, saying, "Give me my wife, Michal, who I betrothed myself for 100 foreskins of the Philistines." So man of shame sent and took her from her husband, from Paltiel the son of Laish, but her husband went with her, weeping all along after her as far as Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go and return." So he returned. If that story is not trying to tell you that you should feel for the husband who's losing his wife, and David is just trying to amass to himself women, I don't know what else this is supposed to be telling you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not portraying him well. So you have to get past Sunday school and think about how this story is telling. Like, what are these stories trying to do? It doesn't mean David's always a bad guy. It just means that sometimes he's a really bad guy. So,
he's a product of his time, and he's a product of his environment too.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is just he is a war chief.
Yeah.
And he's behaving as war chief still. What does David do? Right after this story of Abigail, the very next thing that he does, I don't know if you know offhand, but right, the very next thing that he does, he goes and takes what's her name? Ahinoam, a woman from the harem of Saul. Mm-hmm. So he takes Abigail. Very next thing he does, he goes and takes another woman.
And I take Saul's daughter here.
And take Saul's daughter.
Yeah.
This is what war chiefs do, right? This is you will probably find this kind of interesting. The way that I draw on this on Joel Baden's presentation in my book, but the way the succession narrative is set up, the reason why the writer here is careful to point out who some of these women are, is because he's setting this up in the succession narrative. It's interesting. Amnon is the son of Ahinoam, who is the woman that he took from Saul's harem, and then Adonijah is the son of. It's another woman that's listed in her harem. I don't in his harem. I don't remember offhand. Yeah. Like I said, Abigail's son is the name of her son is mentioned, but we just never hear anything about him anymore. Absalom, who is sort of the central figure in the succession narrative until you get to Solomon, to Shlomo. He's the daughter of a Geshurite princess that David married after he became king. So I mean, the big difference here between Absalom and these other boys in his household and these other women through whom he's fathered them, the big difference is that this is a legitimate like a legitimate treaty marriage that you would expect to see between rulers. So this is David making a treaty with the Geshurites, with the king of Geshur. Part of that treaty is that he gets his daughter in exchange for the agreement. All these other women are women that he took them, right? Same with Bathsheba.
Yeah,
she is a woman
yeah.
that he took. Absalom is the son of the Geshurite, the product of this one royal union between two ruling households. Joel Bainin makes the argument, and I think I agree with him, that Absalom was probably from the start the preferred heir in this situation, because it's the most secure of the unions. His claim to the throne is probably the most legitimate in the first place, and probably the one that David is keen to support. So I think it's a good argument, and it's a very interesting way of reading that story.
Totally.
When you have some of that in the background.
I see Pixie saying that I thought David was a man after God's own heart. It depends what that phrase means. So some have actually argued that it doesn't mean that David was super spiritual and following Yahweh, but that rather it's God's choosing. He's the man that God chose. He chose a specific, like that after God's own heart means someone that God wanted on the throne. That's been argued linguistically, whether or not you take it, whatever.
It is kind of interesting that phrase itself is pretty. I think it occurs once or maybe twice.
I don't remember
in the entire narrative.
Yeah,
and it's early, so it's interesting that's. I think it gets latched onto because it's quoted in the New Testament, isn't it?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, I don't know. There's a super chat here from Jester. Thanks, Jester, for the $2 super chat. Here we go. There we go. No wonder God was done by the time. No wonder God was done by the time of Bathsheba.
Two times. 1 Samuel 13:14, and no, it is Acts 13. You're right. Acts 13 as well. It's only I think it's only 2 times.
I think that's probably why we latch onto it. Is because Paul did, right? But it's very interesting. So cool. So we agree. That's nice. It's always nice when Joel and I agree that David was kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, he is certainly depicted as a bad guy. And so I think one place I would be interested to ask you about is, do you think so I take a principle in reading biblical narratives, and this is what I teach, that the narrator is king. The narrator is the one guiding you in the lessons of a story, not the characters. So does the narrator approve of the weeping husband of Michal?
Right.
Or is the narrator trying to tell you, do not approve? Especially this man of shame brings the wife.
Yeah.
Like, I think the narrator themselves are saying, you should not like this.
Yep.
If that's the case, then again, anyone from my side of things, Christian world, you should go with the narrator and not with David. You got to be very careful how you read these texts, because you're going to come up with really crazy morals and ways of thinking about these texts. If you can't be more precise than David was after God's heart, therefore, I'm not critiquing you, Prixie, by the way. This is this trope in evangelicalism. David was after God's heart, therefore everything but Bathsheba is good. That you can't do it. The narrative falls apart. It just does. Anyway, so we agree.
I do think that the narrator does not have the same concerns that we do in approaching these texts from a moral, ethical perspective, in particular with regards to these sensitive questions of consent and the role and place of women. In the stories. No, that's not what's going on. But I tend to agree with you. And I think in this particular story, I would say, and I keep waffling on this, the way that I present this in the book, and people are I mean, I've talked plenty about this, but the way that I present this in the book is that this is predominantly propaganda for the house of the succession narrative. Is propaganda for the house of Solomon, and Solomon's legitimacy. He's got, the narrator has source material, I think, that is problematic, that he's trying to steer in that direction. So I would agree that, yeah, he probably is critical of David. Not sure if it's his own critique of things that David are doing, or if this is some of the stuff that he's inherited from his sources that he also is just passing along as part of getting to the point of legitimating Solomon. So what I also read this story, I don't know if you've heard me talk about this, but I also read this story through the lens of Genesis chapter 37, which is the story of the other Tamar.
Yeah.
Because I think it's, and I mean, there's an obvious relationship between the succession narrative and the story of Tamar. There's several points of contact, but the obvious ones are in the names of the characters that appear in the two stories. They're all basically the same. There's some slight alterations. Interestingly enough, the same sorts of alterations to the names. I tend to look at, I like to look at this as if Genesis 38 has some sort of royal tradition tied to the house of David that is very similar to what the Deuteronomist or whoever it is writing the succession narrative in particular is drawing from, but is much more fiercely critical of David. And I like to sort of look at the one as a royal critique, and the other one as, you know, a propagandist working with his sources. That's the way that I deal with them.
No, so. Yeah, it is. Yeah, a question that everyone should have is, why is David depicted like this in 1st and 2nd Samuel, and why are 1st and 2nd Kings? I think I saw someone up there say that the Deuteronomic history really props up David. And like, for example, there's a verse looking at 1 Kings 14:8, or 14:8. Yeah, I tore the kingdom from the house of David, and I gave it to you. This Jeroboam. But you were not like my servant David, who kept my commandments and who went after me with all his heart to do what is right, only what is right in my eyes. So yeah, like it does seem to have a high.
Well, it's there's the Deuteronomic phrase, right? He did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, which is really the only thing that the Deuteronomist cares about when you get right down to it. This is the metric by which every man is measured, every ruler in Israel. So I did not that one. Misinterpretations asked if there actually is. It's been pouring rain all day, and there's thunder outside the window here.
Were you kicking the table?
No, I wasn't. Did you hear the thunder?
I didn't. I was so focused. Was there thunder?
Okay. Yeah, there was.
I actually was so focused that I was.
It's been that kind of day.
Yeah.
But so it's after 8.
Yeah.
We've been going for almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to
shut
her down.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone for coming out. And after we get off here, we're gonna send you over to watch Toast to Toast with Paula G and Dave. But this was fun.
It was fun. So these are always fun.
It's always fun.
If everybody's aware, cheers again. Yeah.
Cheers. This is much better with a little bit of water.
A bit of water.
For sure.
Yeah. So again, congrats to Kipp on his book.
Thank you.
We didn't say this at the outset, but in the first stream like this we did, Kipp and I would normally just sit down and talk shop and drink scotch, and we thought it'd be interesting to bring that live to people, and it could be beneficial because we're very different perspectives, but we can sit here and actually make fun of each other and disagree and whatever, and that can happen. We can have complex and candid dialogue, but disagree. This kind of shows that.
What's weird though is I find, and this is the thing, this is the funny thing when I find when I sit down and actually have conversations with scholars that I usually agree with another scholar about most things, right? And I think I find that with when you and I talk, we always find that in broad strokes we tend to agree about a lot of stuff. Like I was thinking about this with and this is something you and I should talk more seriously about sometime, because I'll mention this to you because one of the things that I'm keenly interested in doing more of in the near future are some streams or edited videos about the dating of the Torah and the Pentateuch, right? And one of the reasons for this is because like I see here in the YouTube space, it looks to me like there's two camps. So you've got the guys like Michael Jones and the Egyptologist and guys like John Bergsma on this one side who want to push all this literature back to the end of the Bronze Age, right? And then on the other side, you've got the guys over at Myth Vision and the Gnostic Informant who are bringing on like Gad Barnea and Niels Peter Lemke and
pushing things into the Hellenistic period,
and now pushing everything into the Hellenistic period, right? And I'm sitting here going, oh, like it's such a nuanced question. And I watched I think it was last week. Gad was on. I saw he was on Myth Vision and Gnostic Informant again today, but I didn't watch it. But Gad was on History Valley last week, and it was like a 3-hour pre-recorded interview, and I watched the whole thing. And through the entire thing, I found myself going, I agree with Gad. I think just about the entire time, all the way through. There's a few points, and I came away from this thinking, really the only difference, I think the primary difference between Gad and me is that I probably have more confidence in how much material I can set at an earlier period of time. When I'm talking about an earlier period of time, I'm talking pre-exilic.
Yeah.
So, and, I because he's not saying that there's nothing there that's pre-exilic. That's not what he's saying, right? Mm-hmm. He's just saying it's too hard to pinpoint. I'm like,
he's also breaking apart the linguistic arguments.
Yeah, he is doing that too.
I'm forgetting their names right now. Retzko and what's the other guy? What's the two guys?
Is it Young?
No,
it's
maybe it is.
No, but I know the guy. I know the guy in Sydney, right? The guy that you're talking about.
Yeah. So they would argue that you can't use linguistic means to determine dating of text.
Yeah.
Whereas people my former supervisor Jan Joosten at Oxford,
Ron Hendel
wrote a book on how old is the Hebrew Bible based on the language we find in it and the linguistic data.
Yep.
I tend to lean that way, and a lot of people,
I also tend to lean that way.
But Gad and others would say, "Oh no," and these guys would say, Young, you're right, Young and Rosetsko or whatever it is. They would say, "No, you can have things written in earlier language later on in perfect earlier language later on, so that's not a criteria you can use. So things that look like classical earlier Hebrew, they might actually be written later because we see that in other languages." And so if that's the case, then we have to throw out these kind of categories and these neat distinctions. I sure, let's keep talking about it. I probably lean differently than Kipp. Like, I think there's evidence. I'm not like, this isn't my area, but there's evidence for I think even maybe pre-exilic priestly stuff going on. So I don't even know if I buy the typical post-exilic priestly or an often stated post-exilic priestly stuff. There's even H. And now again, people who don't know,
I could have a conversation about H being pre-exilic.
Yeah, I mean who's the guy who wrote the dissertation? Henry Sun wrote a dissertation on
I
why.
think even Friedman was arguing this years ago.
Oh, probably.
H
I
is
don't remember.
pre-exilic, so.
That even like what is often considered late H. Again, I'm not giving yes or no to these categories. I'm just talking about the literature. That H could be pre-exilic, and that you can't actually, on the basis of language, determine a difference between P and H, which would be some of the priestly materials in earlier in Leviticus, like chapter what is it, chapter 17 or is it 16? And then like the Holiness Code, 18 to what is it, 22?
That sounds close to me.
I always forget the exact allocations, but that you can't actually make that determination based on language. So I don't know. I waffle on this. You guys already heard my take on the cap.
PhD. That's probably in Hebrew. Am I right about that? I haven't read it. It takes me a long time to read.
Oh, Simone is an early P guy, for the record. That's cool.
Oh, nice.
I think we get along that way.
So.
I think it makes sense to be earlier. Yeah.
Oh shoot! There we go. Simone is also, by the way, from New Zealand, so she's from the same neck of the woods as Young.
Oh, okay.
So
they need to make a positive case for the dialectical and selective stuff. They and they don't. Yeah. There are distinctions between late biblical, like what we see in like Chronicles, when Chronicles goes off the record from Samuel, Kings. It's like, oh, the Hebrew is different. Like there are changes.
So one of the things that I haven't read Rosechko and Young myself. I've read reviews of their material. I actually have to go back and read it. But one of the things that came forward in the reviews that I was reading was that they don't effectively deal with things like the orthographic arguments. So, which I think is a really important glaring omission, because this is, and in particular in terms of the Hebrew of the like the early to mid Iron Age, Christopher Rolston has tracked this stuff pretty closely and meticulously, and I think has made a powerful argument about how texts tend to be pretty. They tend to conform pretty consistently to orthographic conventions that are hard to counter or override. So
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yep.
So orthography, just for the I probably talk about it enough that everybody knows what it is, but for those of you who don't, these are spelling conventions, ancient Hebrew spelling conventions, put simply. So so that's stuff that I into, and like this is something like when I was doing, we didn't talk about it, but the stream that I did about the genealogies in Genesis 4 and 5, I'm using to make a case that I think the Masoretic version of the Genesis 5 genealogy is probably no earlier than 3rd century, maybe 2nd century, right?
Yeah.
And there are features in that are very interesting, but importantly, it's based on material also that is clearly, I think, older, and that you can still push back into the pre-exilic period. But
yeah, I'm not sure on any of that. I know that so people know the dates, like the dates, the numbers of ages change between versions. So the Masoretic text, Septuagint, Samaritan Pentateuch, and so there is something textual going on there. And so if you want to recover an earlier text, it might not be MT, and Kipp is saying it probably is an MT. The Masoretic text, that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the MT is easily the latest of them. But
okay, Simone said Horncole's work is also very strong in terms of the data. That's actually Horncole was the name I couldn't remember. I read his work recently.
The dissertation.
No, it's a book. Came out a couple of years ago, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
I'm terrible with dates. But Horncole, I actually texted you about Horncole.
You did?
Yeah. He was the guy where he was talking about how P should be dated earlier based on his linguistic dating. Yeah.
So, but I know that's the other thing too, and I'm very interested to have some of these conversations with you because of the work that you've done with what the Greek writers are doing with the Covenant Code.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think have important implications for not just how to properly culturally situate the Septuagint.
Mhm.
But I think they have important implications for the Hebrew text as well that they're drawing from.
And I mean, not to shoot bullets at the Myth Vision and all those guys who were doing that, the Greek Hellenistic stuff, but my work would kind of push against at least the Covenant Code being a Greek adaptation, because I think my work, so this is my own novel work, in case anyone wants to know, from my monograph from a couple of years ago. I argue that the Greek Covenant by Burrell, that the Greek Covenant Code adapts the Hebrew laws towards Greek legal norms. And if that's the case, then the Hebrew text was a problem to this 3rd century Jewish person in probably in Egypt and probably in Alexandria. If that's the case, then why did they 50 years ago write the Covenant Code under Hellenistic influence in a way that was not coinciding with Greek legal values? It doesn't make sense. It makes way more sense for it to be an ancient. Now I know they could say, oh, some of it's ancient, some's not, or whatever, or maybe the I don't know what they want to argue. But in any case, stuff like that makes me go, yeah, it doesn't seem to be a Hellenistic composition. And then so Gmerkin argues that, I think he argues the Covenant Code is Hellenistic, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And so I think my work, I should have. So I actually read Gmerkin, or part of his work.
That was the most recent one, Plato and the Creation.
Yeah. I read his work. This is my own bad for doing this. I remember sitting in the Sackler Library at Oxford, and I had his work, and I just looked at it. Maybe it was on the computer, and I'm like, this is interesting. Not many people are engaging with this. I just can't right now, and I should have, but I didn't. So I don't actually mention him in my book. Anyways, yeah.
So, but yeah, I think these are some of the conversations I'm interested in having.
Cool.
In the future. So, but yeah, now it's pretty much 3 hours. So I think it's time to shut her down. So, thanks everyone for coming out and hanging out with us and drinking whiskey. Thanks for coming over, Joel,
yeah,
and for bringing some very fine scotch with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I gotta find a good outro here. I'm terrible at doing this kind of stuff. But
thanks everybody else also for having me. I know I'm not your typical person on these kinds of channels. I appreciated the comments that said that they appreciated the friendly tone that we're doing in these discussions. I think that we could use a lot more of that.
Friends, right?
We could use a lot more of that on YouTube.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think so.
Cool.
So, okay. Good. Hot take 5, everyone.
Hot take 5.
Take care and have a great weekend.